Welcome to the Legacy Through Land podcast, where we're dedicated to empowering you on your journey to land ownership and management. I'm Tyler Markham, your host, and each week we'll dive deep into the world of land investing, management strategies, and the transformative experiences tied to owning your very own piece of dream dirt. With our expert guests, inspiring stories, and actionable advice, we're committed to helping you become a better land manager, hone your investing skills, and start building your family's legacy through land. Now, let's dive into this week's episode. We hope you'll enjoy.
It's another episode of the Legacy Through Land podcast. I don't know what number. I'm giving up. I was going to try, but I don't think I'm going to try. We got a lot of good stuff going on. I never give you guys updates, but as of the time of this recording, it has been the snowpocalypse here in Ohio, and probably where you're listening, it's been some form of snow, but it is January 29th, and we have like 13 inches of snow here south of Columbus, and it's honestly been a great time. My kids have been off school all week, and we've had a really great just kind of staycation, and it's been clean, powdery snow, so it's been good. But a little cooped up, feeling a little crazy, so I am finally getting out here after recording this podcast to go get into some dirt shenanigans because I have been cooped up too long. But starting off 2026 with a bang, we're into a lot of crazy stuff. We just closed a kind of commercial-ish farm that we bought, and we are going to resell. And I've got some recreational farms under contract to buy, so we're in good shape there. We've got a couple farms that we have finished up, one in Muskingum that we just put under contract to sell. I'm actually working on putting my Jackson 500 under contract to sell right now, so there's just a lot going on. I'm really excited about it. God's good. I'm thankful for the success. Today's guest is a dude that I didn't know that well until we got together on here, and it's just a really, really good story. Joey Charlton is who we're going to talk with. He's a West Virginia dude over in the Panhandle, but hunts about everywhere in the country. He is part of Bone Shack Outdoors, show on the Pursuit Channel Sunday mornings. Great man of faith. He's now a land agent, and we were just able to kind of catch up and talk through his journey to becoming a land agent, his process of being intentional with hunting with the kids and business, and we talked about some good hunts and kind of a few things that I'm going to tease as spoiler alerts. I'm just not going to tell you what they are, but we've got some good topics here. So I'm going to jump right in. You guys meet Joey Charlton. Joey, welcome to the Legacy Through Land show. Thanks for being on here.
No problem, man. Appreciate you having me.
We both had some technical difficulties, so you guys wouldn't know that, but, sort of bear with us. We both worked through it. Joey was, he was just.
We can add IT to our resume now. We both got it up and running.
Yeah, made it happen. Well, listen, first topic before we jump right into who in the world Joey is, how are you faring in the snowpocalypse of 2026?
It was a little disappointing for what they were saying down here in West Virginia. We started off, I think we have about 8 inches at the end of the day. We jumped out to 7 quick, and then we got a freezing rain on top and kind of smashed the precipitation amounts down. But, we're blessed. West Virginia country boy. My in-laws have a tractor, jumped on it, got plowed out. We got to work, right? So real estate, you got to be ready to go all the time. So we were in maybe a day. We went out, did some sled riding with the kids, got on the pond, did a little ice skating on it, and we were back up and running in no time. So we're pretty blessed to be able to get out.
Yep. Dude, so if you look at like the map, so my full-time assistant and operations manager lives in West Virginia, and she's close to Charleston. And, you look at the map of kind of like what was going on. I'm in Columbus. It's like, and then I have relatives in Tennessee, and it was like, everyone's going to get something different from this. Like, right. And we got all the snow, like zero ice, none, zero, 12, 13 inches of snow. Like you could broom our driveway off clean. After you shoveled it, you could just shove a broom and you'd be right back down to, pavement. It was crazy how fluffy but it's the most snow I've ever seen. I mean, it's insane. They're like the snow plows have covered people's mailboxes just cleaning out our cul-de-sac. Like that's how high it was. So it's been wild, but we've had power. We haven't lost power. We have all the food in the world we want. And honestly, it's been a nice, I'm saying this, like it's been a really nice, like family staycation so far. Backing up, who in the world is Joey? Tell our listeners and watchers, who is Joey Charlton?
Joey's just a blessed individual, man. I born and raised West Virginia, married to my wife, Amy, for 25 years. 3 great kids. JJ, he's in college right now, second year playing college baseball. I got a middle son named Parker, and he's getting ready to go off to college, play some college golf. He graduates this year. And then my little girl, Natalie, she's 12, and in every sport available possible. So we're on the run all the time. But, man, I'm just a dude who gets to live the American dream. God's blessed me, and I'm just lucky to do what I do. We part of a hunting show, been on the Pursuit Channel for going on 11 years. We're filming season 11 right now. Build a lot of great relationships with people, and just try to be humble.
People don't already know.
Very lucky, man.
What's the show if people don't already know?
It's called Bone Shack Outdoors, and we're on the Pursuit Channel. We air Sunday mornings. We can get into that later on, kind of how it started and all. And, the time slots we started on, they weren't preferred. We had to pay our dues and got into it, but now we're Sunday morning sunrise. It'll start off again, January, February, March, April, Q2, so April, May, June is when we'll air again. So we're wrapping up some hunts now and getting ready to get it kicking again.
I love it. So let's land the plane a little bit geographically. Where is home for you?
Eastern Panhandle, West Virginia.
Okay.
So down near Winchester, Virginia. I'm about a half hour from Winchester, Virginia, and Hampshire County. And we're about probably about a lot of people know where Morgantown is. We're about an hour and 45 minutes from Morgantown.
I've heard of Morgan Hole before.
I try not to go there too much, but hey.
For those that know me, I've literally, so I keep thinking, I thought that Morgan Hole was sold to Pittsburgh years ago. Like I didn't even know it still existed, but that's because my wife went to the other school in that state, the best school, the Green School, Marshall. So we don't talk about the team up north in West Virginia. And also, now that I've moved to Ohio, we for sure don't talk about the team up north. So I kind of have that sentiment. Yeah. Oh, dude, I don't even care. I already know I'm a minority. My main Mountaineer joke, I'll give it to you. It's my favorite one, but I always tell all my Mountaineer fans that you guys buy your sporting gear at Walmart. So, and that's all I have. That's really all I have. I ask most women Mountaineer fans, do you know how many innings there are in football? And that's about it. That's all I got. That's it. I always tell people we have to, we don't get to buy our Mountaineer. We don't buy our Marshall gear at the Tamarack like you buy your Mountaineer gear. Okay. So we actually have to go to a real sporting store and get it. But
actually, anyway. Where I get it, shop.com or something. Yeah.
Yeah. And now I'm like a fully converted Buckeye fan. So all my friends can bust my chops.
I was kind of social media.
Yeah, I was a closet Buckeye fan. Well, Joey, we'll get into this, but I know you hunt in Ohio too. But like a lot of my hunting buddies, I hunted in Ohio for 20 years before I lived here. And I was always around them and just always we're watching Buckeye games on Saturdays. And so I'm like, around the corner, like, what is happening? And admittedly, as good as they've been in the last 5-8 years, whatever, it's a fun team to be around. And especially, we're going to get into some faithisms. They started revivals on the campuses last year. They continued it this year. Like they're leading people to Christ. My mom doesn't know football at all. And she's like, she watched a whole Ohio State documentary with me over Christmas down spending time with family. She's the one that wanted to watch it. Like told me, do you know they did a documentary and Tim Tebow was in it and all this? And I'm like, what is happening? This is all God that you like want to know what the Ohio State Buckeyes are doing. So it was cool. But enough about sports and irrelevant teams in West Virginia. Anyways, hard edge. So Amy, married, kids, 25 years, and you're still 29 years old. It's amazing.
It's amazing how that works. Yeah, you do it right in West Virginia, right?
Yeah,
no, we got married early. We were 19. We got married, high school sweethearts. I know you said you and your wife met in high school, and we were going to college, and we want to do things the right way. We knew if I was going to move to Tennessee where she was going to school, we need to get married and do the things the right way. We're going to be down there together, and got married at a young age. Everybody told us we were crazy, and here we are, 25 years later, strong, blessed, and loving life, man. So,
did she go to UT?
No, she went to a Christian school called Milligan College down Tennessee.
Yep. Okay.
Down near Johnson City. Yep. So she went there, got her master's in elementary education, and I went down there and finished my associate's degree, and then we moved back. Had to get back to the mountains. So when she graduated with her master's, I had my associates. I came back and finished college here, and it was a good run down there, though.
Yeah, beautiful state. Really do love Tennessee. I was about to say you and I have an even stranger similarity because my wife's sister went to UT and married a guy from Memphis, and they live in Knoxville now. But same thing, they kind of stuck with each other through college. We got married at 20, engaged at 19. So you and I are pretty similar. We're 16 years in. So
nice, congrats.
Yeah, it's funny, Joey. The other night, my wife and I were talking that. I said this and she like immediately corrected me. I was like, our story like isn't super cool. Like we had some friends over to the house with like a small group Bible study, and it's no disrespect to anyone's story, but like, they're like all these pitfalls in their dating, and then we broke up, and then we were engaged, and then we called it off, and then we got back together, and then this and then that, and I'm like, we just like dated in high school, got engaged, and got married. That's been it. And she's like, most people would want that story. Okay. Like, don't think that story isn't cool. Like, it's cool. It's what God wants you to do.
Exactly. And that's what we get into it more later, but I've met a lot of young youth through the, Turning Point stuff and all of that. They want what you and I have. They want the American dream. They don't want this whole hookup culture. They want what we have. And, my son, he's doing some Bible studies at his college baseball team, and he's talking the other day. He said, I really don't have a story. We were just talking about that. He's like, my story's been good. I was raised in a Christian home. I didn't have a lot of issues, didn't do a lot of things I shouldn't have done. And I'm like, that means we're blessed, bud. We were just talking about that the other day. I'm okay not having a really crazy backstory because it's a lot less, we're lucky to be in that situation.
Yeah, it is, man. I hear tons of people speak and, motivational people and just these stories that are just incredible and just this journey their life has been and the terrible upbringing, whatever it is. And like, I just sit back and I'm like, I was very protected. I was very protected and had a great upbringing, and God protected me throughout all of it. And anyway, so
that's what we want for your kids, right? I mean, that'd be perfect. So,
Yep. Tell me the colleges real quick so we can get a shout out to all the kids in college in your family. Where are they at?
Well, my oldest son, he's in college at Garrett Community College up in McHenry, Maryland. He's playing baseball there. It's a 2-year JUCO school, and he's going to transfer obviously after this year's second year, and kind of in the middle where he's going to go next, depends on what kind of season he had. He hit 300 as a freshman, started 75% of the games up there, so he should have a great sophomore campaign coming up here. And if he puts up big numbers, sky's the limit. He's a big kid, 6'3", about 185 pounds now, so trying to put on some more weight. We'll see where next season leads, but super exciting. My other son hasn't officially announced yet, but he's going to be playing school golf for a school up near Pittsburgh, up in PA. Okay. So that's beat coming on that. He could be mad at me if I drop it on there.
I was going to say, nope, nobody, yeah. Everybody shut up. Nobody knows.
He's going to play some college golf up there, be a mechanical engineer. He's going to be a mechanical engineer, and that was number one. He loves golf, but he had to find a place that worked out, and he did, and super blessed. I mean, as a parent, they got to go to chapel. I think it's 12 times a month there, so hey, we love that. Mom's happy about that. Dad's happy about that. And then my daughter, she's just in middle school. So she's here local middle school. She said she's going to play college softball. Maybe I think she might be a golfer. We'll see. But cool. One of the two, I think, is where she'll end up.
Cool. Yeah. What I'm hearing in your guys' story that's really cool is that you've got your kids, sounds like, on track to develop athletic scholarships to continue their education. And that's a big win. So
it is a big win, but just as long as they're good human beings, that's the most important part, right?
Correct.
So, yeah.
Correct. Well, dude, let's jump into this. I mean, I told Joey before we even started, the thing that is really fun for me on this podcast, and my guests hear this all the time, they probably get tired of hearing it, but I had no idea how this would grow. I had no idea how God would use it. I had no idea how these stories would just continue to develop. And I just had no idea. I was on an exploratory journey. And I like the creative outlet that the podcasts are. I enjoy people, hearing people's stories, especially I know I'm going to enjoy hearing yours and where you're at in your career. But Joey and I don't know each other that well yet. So this is fun because I know a ton of our similarities. I know that we love the Lord. I know we're going to talk about some Turning Point stuff. And I know we're going to talk about deer and hunting and land and real estate and all the stuff. We don't happen to know each other that well yet. So as you guys are listening and watching, Joey and I are becoming best friends on this podcast. We just don't know it yet. So no pressure, Joey, no pressure at all.
You see how it works out.
Yeah. I mean, the thing, we're going to jump right into this because I know we'll take too much time if we don't stay on track. I might bring a moderator on in the future for my podcast because I'm kind of the worst guy to keep people on track. But well, I know something that you're really passionate about, and as I was studying who you are and watching some of your social content and just kind of seeing what your brand looks like and what is your ethos, to me, the one that pops out the most, and you said you'd like to speak about this as well, is you seem to be like the kind of guy that is actually raising his family in the outdoors and trying to center them around that. If we start to, you've told your kids' ages, but when did you start taking them out? And, if we can go back in time, what comes to mind? When do you think you started taking them out?
Yeah, I mean, when they showed interest, and, they showed interest a little younger than I really took them out. They really started wondering what Daddy did when he was, going to hunt and stuff. They always ask questions. And I guess rewind a little bit. I actually did not start hunting myself until I graduated high school. So growing up, I played a ton of sports. Dad took me some. A bunch of his buddies had moved away. So we hunted a little bit, but not like I do today. And then kind of started bow hunting after high school. And, man, I fell in love. And so, ever since the kids have been born, I've been hunting, been on, the TV show and all. For the most part, we started it. My older son, JJ, he's 20. So we've been 11 years. So he was 9 when we started it. So
that's amazing.
Like eight or 9 probably is kind of the year when JJ started. I think he shot his first deer when he's 8. And I kind of just used it in the beginning, like you, I don't know. I mean, you might get like me too, but when you throw a whole season as much as we hunt, it sometimes becomes a grind. You work. I mean,
it always becomes a grind.
Right. You're like mentally like, what am I doing here toward late season? And I didn't want to start that way with them. I wanted it to be fun. I wanted to enjoy it. So the first couple hunts we did, I'd say 6 through 8 to answer your main questions, kind of when we started them, all my different kids' ages. But we go out, we'd take their coloring book, we'd set a ground blind up somewhere in the back. I have some acreage here at my house, and we would just set up on a food plot. And I told my wife when we started, I said, I just want them to enjoy it. So we take the coloring books, we take snacks, we take their phones, we take everything, and we would go out for 15 minutes. And when they got bored, we would come in. Yep. And that was kind of, hey, Dad's going to hunt, you want to go type deal. And when they finally started saying, I want to go, then you're going to commit to it. Then we're going to stick it out and set it. So I kind of eased them into it with fun in the beginning. And then, and that didn't last long. They could handle it. They knew they learned they could handle it. And then when they started really bugging me, hey, I want to go, then we would go. And that was probably about the age of around 7 for all of them. So when I say, I mean, they don't go set all day. Like we strategically pick when, my daughter, she's 12. I still want her to enjoy it. But, we just started real slow and then they all just fell in love with it right away and they go hunt hard. I mean, they each go on a trip with me. I'm leaving tonight or tomorrow morning for South Carolina with my son Parker to go on a pig hunt.
That sounds like some better weather.
You would think, man. We were supposed to go last weekend with this storm and they ended up getting 3 inches of snow in South Carolina. So we canceled and moved to this weekend. And Saturday, like Friday will be nice down there, but Saturday evening when we're hunting, it's supposed to be like 29 in snow. So
what?
It's following me. I can't get away from it.
Mm-hmm. Dude, I'm kind of buddies with Joe Miles and, just love watching their careers. And Joe's a big South Carolina guy. I'm going to have to bust their chops. I bet they never thought Osseo heavyweight gear would be worn in January in South Carolina. Am I missing it? That sounds like a record cold.
Man, we've been down there and it's hot, and we've been down there and, last year and this year it's been pretty cool down there. I'm planning on taking my heated vest. Now we're night hunting, thermal hunting, but it's going to be for real. I mean, you need to be prepared, and I was hoping it'd be nice and warm. We were going to take the golf clubs, golf midday, hunt at night, and not happening. So they all have different loves on hunting. I mean, like the one going to pig hunt with me, he doesn't love early mornings and the deer hunt like my older one does. My older one in college, man, he goes door to door and knocks on doors up there at college to get permission, loves the deer hunt. He's eating up with it. And
that's the one going in PA or no?
No, Maryland now.
Okay.
And the one PA is the one going with me tomorrow. And then my daughter, she goes back here. We just picked up taxidermy. She killed it last year in Ohio. So she's eating live with it. But my kids are unique. They think they're supposed to go shoot a deer and it's on TV. They think that's the way it's supposed to work growing up.
I was just about to ask you that. Yeah. Like what has it felt like? Because I've done a lot of filming myself and not as much with my kids. I mean, honestly, man, admittedly, the thing that I am going to be very much more intentional with in this coming year of hunting is even more so getting my kids involved. I've been patient, and I have 3 daughters. And, they love to shop with mom, and it's kind of dad's thing is to go hunt, and they love to go shop. And it was just like, fine. It wasn't a hard conversation. It naturally, it didn't progress. It regressed, and I now have a 3rd daughter, my 3-year-old, and she just wants, and here she's about to come. I'm on a podcast. Mom, we're live on a podcast. Romy, you got to, I know she's doing, she's getting paper out of the printer. She doesn't care that we're live.
Hey, I love it.
She wants to be wherever dad is, period. She wants to go hunting. Awesome. Hey, Romy, what's the deer that we hunted this year called? Tell him. She knows. We called this deer Lloyd Christmas, and she'll like see a deer on a bag in a store, and she's like, that looks like Lloyd Christmas. Like she just, with her, I've done it much better, but the older ones I haven't. My oldest is 12, then I have a 10-year-old, and now my 3-year-old. So anyways, admittedly, what you are talking through is me getting to vicariously live through how to be more intentional with. We started with filming. What has it been like being able to, because I'm assuming here, document their journey and progression through hunting?
Yeah, it's awesome. The biggest buck I've killed, I shot in Illinois a few years back. I shot it the same year my son shot his first deer. And I'm telling you, man, when they shoot their first deer, his was a button buck.
I was getting ready to say, which hunt was better to you?
Oh, no comparison. People think you're crazy, and then you experience it with kids. One with your kid, absolutely. It's like watching sports. You can't do it for them. So I'm sitting here, I'm videoing, the camera shaking, the tree stand shaking from him shaking. I mean, it just gets your heart pounding. I mean, just watching the kids have success. There's no comparison. And I give up a lot of hunts each year to take them out. I could got a big buck on camera or whatever, just want to get them out there, and zero comparison. I mean, certainly I love killing them myself, harvesting myself, but having the kids be successful and enjoy it, not even close.
Yeah. Amazing. So you've been able to document this, though. I'm assuming, and I'm not busting your chops if you haven't gotten this as much as what I'm assuming, but you said your son's first hunt was when he was 8, or maybe your daughter's first hunt at 8 was their first kill. Do you happen to have that on video?
I do.
See, like, and I'm going to guess a lot of the storyline forward you have on video.
We do. Every animal they've harvested pretty much has been on film. I mean, it's awesome, and that's kind of how I got in. I mean, I won't jump down the road yet on you, but I just kind of got in.
You're leading there. Like, what did you focus on? I guess because what I know at filming, there's a delicate balance between, hey, and you hear this every year. Hey, let's just go hunt. Let's just go hunt. Let's leave the cameras in the truck. Let's just go hunt. Take our kids. Let's just go hunt. We don't have to make a production of this. How did you navigate the balance between we are filming something and we are just here having community with God?
It's tough. I mean, because with what we do, what we try to do is like, there's storytelling, there's harvesting animals, there's combination. We've had a lot of success in being just the average Joe Schmo that works throughout the week, gets in a truck, drives to Kentucky, Ohio, wherever, midnight, gets up, hunts the next morning, harvests the deer. So we try to have 2 harvests per episode, 13 episodes, in a quarter. So we try to have 26 harvests per year. So between me and the guy that runs the show, and we have a couple other guys that, pro staff, I mean, you got to be successful when you're out there. So that it gets a little stressful. I mean, because, there's deer we don't get to shoot because of shot angles, or you can't get the camera through the window. And I mean, we mostly self-film, and people will set and act like it's easy and you should be able to do this and that. It's hard to kill a big buck, let alone self-film.
It's ridiculously hard to self-film.
So I kind of, with the kids, what I do with them, I kind of leave it up to them. Like, hey, do you want this on video? Is it bust or not? And before the hunt, we'll have them, hey, what do you want to shoot this year? So I'm all about progression with the kids. And, the button buck, I said, was my first, my son's first deer. I'm sure we got some hatred from people for him shooting a button buck, but heck with them. The way our heart pounded, the way my heart pounded, that's what it's about. And then you grow from there.
My first deer, button buck, who cares?
Absolutely. And, the people that usually, and we talk about that a little bit in the beginning, but, the inner fighting in the industry is ridiculous sometimes. But,
we're going to get there. We'll get there.
A lot to cover. But
kids, we'll stir that pot right on up. Don't worry. I just got a fire starting under it. It's not warm yet.
But kids, first-time hunters, they got to do what makes them happy. So, I just let the kids shoot what made them happy, whether there's a doe, button buck, spike. And then what we do year over year is the way I've done it is like, all right, if they tell me going this year it's got to be a 4-point or bigger, then you're going to be a 4-point or bigger. I'm going to hold you to that. So if spike comes out, no, we need to learn. We need to learn how to hunt right. I mean, you want to kill a 4-point. Let's not settle here. And, now it's getting really hard now because my daughter's 12. She has a wall hanger behind me here. Dude, when they start all wanting to kill big bucks, I like it when they shot a spike and went home. You know what I mean? It made it a lot easier. So it was pretty simple. Yeah, exactly. So it was pretty fun getting them on. Pretty simple getting them on video. I mean, you hunt food plots with kids a lot. They're not in tree stands too much. So being the camera guy and them hunting. I'm not sponsored by Bog, but those Bog death grips, man. I mean, unbelievable for kids with crossbows, guns, and it's game changer. My daughter shot a ton of deer out of them with a crossbow. She loves the 350 Legend, being Ohio hunting, and it's been pretty fun. But just being out there with them in God's creation, what I tell everybody, I love to hunt with the kids, and we started off video and just for fun, just to have, like you said, your kid's first kill on camera. That was the point of it. Never thought it would lead into hunting on TV show. That's always a dream of everybody, but never thought that would happen. And when you take your kids hunting, I'm very open with my kids. I'm hard. We raise our as parents, we raise our kids, try to raise them the right way. We're tough on them. We have conversation with them. And when you get a tree stand with your kid for 4 hours, uninterrupted time, they can't get away. Dude, they open up. It's amazing. The time you get out there in God's creation, talk to them, and the conversation you can have is what it's all about. So we don't video all that and all, but the deer comes in, harvest it on camera. It's been a lot of fun to accommodate, spend time in the woods with them. The fact that you get to be on TV, makes them want to go probably a little more. But I've just been blessed that all the kids love to hunt.
Dude, I was going to ask you, leading right into it, what do you think's been one of your favorite memories with the kids so far?
The buck behind me on the wall.
That's a tough one.
Probably the buck behind me on the wall, my daughter. She, youth season Ohio. We went 2 years in a row. She, Dad, I want to go. And just the pure excitement of her shooting her first wall hanger. She busted them on her brothers because it's bigger than any deer they killed. The sibling rivalry was fun with it, but just watching her excitement and her, being fired up, calling mom, calling the grandparents, telling the story. It's hard to just pick one, but that's the first one that comes to mind just because it was so much joy, so much fun. But, everybody says it, but I mean, honestly, spending time with family and friends outdoors, that's what it's about. We spend a lot of time hunting each year, and I can tell you what, I come home with empty tag a lot, just being picky and trying to film and stuff, but just any time with the family and outdoors, you can't beat it.
Yep, I'm with you. What do you this one's kind of this one's the bigger picture of we're intentional with teaching them about hunting and all these things, but what do you feel like you hope they learn from hunting or through hunting?
That's a long one. It's because you want them to learn how to fail. You want to learn disappointment. You want to learn patience. So hunting, I mean, it teaches you so many things. It teaches you patience. It teaches you preparation. Getting them off to school sometimes is like my son's in college. Getting him to want to go to class, he does it, no problem. But he's gonna sleep in last minute. Hunting, man, he's up the crack of dawn. His stuff's laid out the night before. Just the whole preparation piece. The Safety's huge. How to respect the gun, how to respect the animal. We catch a lot of crap in the industry because, we shoot stuff, but we care more about them than anybody. We do a lot of, things to make sure they're taken care of. So just, everything from safety to God's creation to, steadiness to calming yourself under pressure to failing, bouncing back because you're going to fail and that you're going to fail in life. So hunting helps you in so many ways that, it's hard to pick away one thing that it would be, but just respect and just being a better human being.
Dude, I think your first answer, which is that knee jerk gut answer of hoping they learn how to fail. Mm-hmm. That is, I really resonate with that because that word is just so small, but so big. It's such a wide latitude of when we say fail. I always think of, and I'm not a baseball guy. You're a baseball guy, so I'm going to butcher this, but you think of the story of Babe Ruth. And people, I hear these motivational speakers talk about, if you go look at his stats, you go look at this guy's stats and you just read them and you don't know the player, you would say average at best. And the reason he was so great is because he failed, go look it up, but 3 times more than the average batter at that time. He failed so much to get to where he was. And I think of Michael Jordan as well, and people talk about that. And, I'm a sports guy, but, the thinking of him, I think he even, he didn't make the team that first year. He got cut as a freshman or whatever it was. And like the failure, Kobe Bryant, talking about, I was never respected. I never was. I had to earn it. I always had to earn it. Now we think of the name as a great, but learning how to fail. I think that's incredibly true because it's not failing and stopping. It's failing forward. It is try, fail, adjust, succeed. Try, fail, adjust, succeed. Failing forward. You're right. You're right. It teaches them a lot of discipline too, because in that failure is the pursuit of success.
Yeah, what can I do? What changes can I make? How can I get better next time? Sometimes luck ain't on your side. I mean, it's all that. I love the quote. It's a skilled sailor was never created by a smooth sea, right? I mean, you get out there and you're on flat water, anybody can do it. And you learn the stripes you go, such as life. And it's helped them in sports and all that. I mean, I don't mind. I mean, it hurts as parents to your kids fail, but I'm okay when my kids do, because I know they're going to get another gear. They got enough gumption and they've done, they've been through enough that they get another gear and they go make it happen. And, I saw it pay off my son in college year in baseball, didn't start right away. And he said, I'm getting that spot. And boy, he dug deep and ended up starting 75% of the games toward the end of the year, and it was phenomenal. And that only happens by learning how to deal with adversities and stuff. And what throws you more adversities than hunting? I mean,
for sure.
Lack of control and stuff. So.
For sure. I think people that, like, honestly, something that I really want to do a better job of is helping introduce people to the sport of hunting. I mean, it's really, as we get so die hard, and I know you and I are going to share the same kind of ethos. I get so inundated and just sucked into chasing a deer or checking cameras, or doing this or doing that, or moving a stand or whatever it is to succeed at the chase. It's like, honestly, the thought, like when someone comes to me and they're interested in hunting, the thought of like to start over with someone, like admittedly, the thought at that moment is like, I don't really know. Like, I don't know if I'm that interested. Like, A, I won't take you to the best spots. B, we need to learn about scent control first. You need to understand the wind first. Like, all this stuff goes in your head, and you have to just be like, but wait, do you encounter God through hunting? Right. That's all they're asking. They don't know they don't know the other stuff. That's part of the journey. They're asking to encounter what you encounter, and they don't know it yet. Yeah, I don't know. It's just, it's tough.
I'm telling you, it's fun taking first timers out because they're just happy to shoot. They're happy to harvest the deer.
Or see them.
We miss that. We miss that. How many deer do you sit and watch pass each year? I mean, how many bucks growing up that I'd probably put on the wall to let pass each year now? And, you miss that sometimes. So I find a lot of joy in taking new hunters back out and, man, brown is down, let's go. And it's just it's so much fun. So, yeah.
Yep. I mean this. I'm planning a trip for everybody who's on this podcast, so I'll send you details whenever we get a little bit better at scheduling this stuff. But I kind of want to schedule a It's Brown, It's Down trip. Like, I want to just peel back the grind off of everybody and just say, hey, this all started with community. This all started with tailgates down at Grandpa's farm, and this all started with going to the check station and seeing a guy shot a big doe, and you remembered that doe and how big it was, and that's where this all started. And we've gotten way away from that, like way away, and we've got to get back to it. I'm going to jump around here a little bit, but I don't want to forget this story. You've had a very storied career. Obviously, having been able to document a lot of this on video, I was snooping you and came across a clip of a lot, and I'm interested in knowing how this played out. But tell us about the tree stand fail.
Yeah. Plug for hunter safety system. That's why I'm sitting here today talking to you. I mean, we all put those things on, just part of our routine. And if not, you better put them on. You better start wearing them, whether it's them or anybody else. Wear your harness. I mean, I hunt, man, I don't know how many days a year, a bunch. And I've always said, like, I'll get in troubles when I step from the sticks to the platform or back out, because we're not only carrying, our bow and stuff. This camera gear gets heavy. My backpack probably weighs, 70 pounds. So, I mean, and I'm not a little dude, so I've always said that's what's going to happen. But, man, another day, we're out. I went to Iowa. My buddy moved to Iowa, and I've been drawing points, but building up points, and finally drew, and he said, come hunt with me. And, I mean, it's bringing back some memories now that you bring, we're talking about this.
Walk through it. I'm interested. I want to know surreal, because I've not had this happen. So this is, I think, a wake-up call for a lot of guys listening. Walk us through it. You're in Iowa, so I was going to ask that. Where was this?
Yeah, it was in Iowa. So, you build up the anticipation. You go to Iowa, right? Once every 6 years or whatever out of state or it takes to get. And, I always took safety serious. I mean, my wife, I got to tell the story because she'd be mad at me if I didn't. So we were first married, didn't have a ton of money. And, those harnesses that come with the tree stands you buy, like that all tangled I put on, I hated them. And I'm like, I hate putting these things on. So we were in, I think it was Bass Pro Shops one day or something. And I called her. I said to her, how much is my safety worth to you? And she said, what are you talking about? And I said, well, I hate wearing these things. I don't know if I'm going to wear them unless I get one of these $100 vests. I got to have one. So is my safety worth $100 to you? And obviously, she had to answer yes. But she busts me on that all the time because, that's kind of the start where I started wearing actual ones because I just forever use the ones that come in tree stands, slap them on. And I started hunting the vest. And it's just what you wear every day. I mean, it's what you do. You put it on, you go. I mean, I know a lot of people hang tree stands without a harness. Don't do that. I mean, that's a lot of maneuvering around, hanging from trees anyway. And so I'm real cautious of safety. I always have been on it. And it was just another day, man. We were out there. I'd already hunted a couple mornings, passed a decent buck that morning. We had rattled in 13 deer. It was a great morning, epic. And, the wind shifted in the afternoon. And my buddy said, got a new stand here in this thicket. He said he should go and hunt it this evening. I can't go because he's a school teacher and had to go back and do some stuff. And he said, just go in there and hunt it. And I walked in. Everything was good. Got into the tree stand and got everything set up. So when you get in a tree stand when you're self-filming, there's a lot to set up. I mean, you got to get your bow hung just right. You got to get the camera set just right. So I got in. I strapped myself in and got everything set up. And I remember it vividly. It was the day after the election. It was the day after this last election. So I was on a high. And
Trump train. All right, I did.
And I sat down and I look out in the way, and with self-filming, you look at things differently. Like my buddies poking me all the time. They're like, well, you cut more than you should, but you got to have camera angles. You got to have bow angles. And there was a limb out there. I'm like, that limb is driving me nuts. It's just going to be right my way on that scrape I want to shoot to. And I got down, left all my stuff in tree, went down, cut that limb, got back in the stand, strapped in. And I'm like, all right, I'm good. I'm completely set up. Everything's good. And I sat down just like I'm sitting here talking to you. And I got my phone out and I was doing a video of, that's why it's recorded. People were like, is that real? And when I was doing a video of the election and I was all happy about, what was going on and stuff. And no more than I'm sitting here just talking, I hear this loud crash and the cables broke on the tree stand. And here I go. And it felt like I was falling like in slow motion. And I remember thinking to myself, I'm falling. This is not good. And then I remember thinking to myself, wait, I got a safety system on. I guess see if these things work. And all of a sudden I just felt this big tug and it didn't hurt real bad. It's weird. Like it was kind of like a seatbelt grabbing you, if you will. And, I'm sitting at the bottom of the tree, my cell phone's still in hand like this. And apparently I grabbed my rattling antlers on the way down and I had blood on my knuckles where I scraped the tree on the way down. So I'm holding rattling antlers and my cell phone at the bottom of the tree. Thinking,
why the rattling antlers?
I remember
maybe you tried to grab them, like to hold on. Like you probably
I think I just hold on to. Yeah, I mean, it happened so fast. It's weird. It was so fast and so slow at the same time, and I had time to think on the way down. Like, I'm gonna die. Wait, no, I got the safety system on, and the thing did its job. Pulled it in, and I use a tether that I hook into a rope. So I leave it a little extended so I have room to play. Sure. So the fall is, a little bit longer than probably it seemed a long way. And here I am dangling at the bottom of this tree, I don't know how far down. And just sitting there thinking, man, I'm blessed. I'm blessed.
How far up were you? How far up was the
about
stand?
18 feet. 18 feet.
Had you fallen, when we're making assumptions here, but had you fallen, broken back, at the best, broken neck.
If I was lucky, I'd be alive. I mean, it was in a thicket. Like you had to walk through a thicket to get into it. So it'd been, who knows what, dude. I always tell people I probably won't be sitting here talking to you. I mean, or be paralyzed.
What do you think happened on the actual, and this doesn't really matter, but for those that, I'm sure, Joey, if you're like me, I mean, I own a lot of stands. Some are brand new, some are a few years old, and some are ancient, and you check the straps on the ancient ones and eventually you replace them. Because this isn't about the stand, everybody. It's not about the stand. We can't blame the safety issue on a failure, right? You're supposed to be safe in the first place. What do you think happened? How do you think it failed?
Oh, it was. And there was these keyboard warriors busting me on social media. If you go back and look at some of the comments, like, you got to check your bolts on your stands every day. You got to do that. I mean, of course you do. I mean, in the middle of the dark, I got my wrenches out there,
Right.
No,
on a buddy's stand.
This was the newest stand he had. This is the newest stand he'd hung out there. He'd already pre-hung it and all. It wasn't a strap issue. We check our straps every year. It was down where the cable, like the seat it was a lock on, and you got your seat where it folds down. It was where the cables go down from the seat to the platform.
Yep.
That thing just broke. I mean, it gave away the bolt or something. I actually got a tree stand down in the garage. I kept it, and I'm going to hang it in my office wall one day just to as a memory. Yep. But it was just a failure, a bolt failure or so. I never really went back to that detail. I just know that cable broke, and I was thankful to be alive. And, I remember calling my wife and be like, I'm okay, but I just fell out of my tree stand. And she's obviously panicking. I'm good. I'm not going to hunt this evening. I'm lucky to be here. I'm going to regather my thoughts here, and I'm going to go back through it. I'll be back in the stand in the morning getting after it. But it was just one of those moments you sat there and you said, thank you, Lord. I'm safe, and I'm blessed to be here. And I just didn't have I don't know. I just didn't want to hunt that night. I just needed to take some time. So I drove around the fields, looked at big bucks, and just kind of regather my thoughts. But I will tell you a lesson I learned, and I share this with a lot of people, and they say they never thought about it. But when you hang tree stands, I mean, screw in steps, whatever, sometimes you're running and gunning, whatever you got to do. I've never really paid attention to where the steps set on the tree stand. Like, you got your lock on. Yep. And when this set up, he had the steps right off to the side. So when I fell, I was able to swing and get it. But I tell you what, I got a lot of tree stand setups I've changed now where the steps were directly below me, a screw-in step directly below. If I'd had a screw-in step below me, it would have gutted me, man. When I fell so fast, it would have got underneath. I mean, just ripped. I mean, it would have been awful. So anytime you hang a tree stand set up, if I give you any advice, I would recommend not putting steps right below you. Get it? Because, I mean, the tree leans, so pick a different tree, whatever you have to do. But, man, that was the biggest eye-opening experience for me because I wear my harness. I won't hunt a stand without a lifeline now after this fall. I had some stands without lifelines. The ones the kids hunt always had them in. I will not hunt a tree stand without a lifeline to get in and out from the step. But I'm telling you, the biggest takeaway I had was, be careful with the positioning of those. Because when you fall, I had a lot of people saying, well, I'm nimble. I don't need a safety harness, or I can get around the stuff. Dude, I used to be a great athlete. I mean, there's no nimbleness. I was sitting here as I'm talking to you right now. And the next thing I know, I'm going, dude, and I'm falling. And it was a surreal moment. I try to share a story with everybody. I reach out to Hunter Safety System. They follow me on social media. Hopefully we get a partnership with them one day or something over it. But I mean, just to be able to spread the word, because it's very important to be safe.
Dude, I just look at I had a pastor one time, or 15 years ago, one of my pastors, good friend. I let him come hunt in Ohio. And I kind of hope he hears this because he's done this twice now where he took a selfie in the stand that opening evening in Ohio, and I saw it on Facebook, and I wasn't out, but I was like, you don't have a harness. Like, something doesn't look right. And I was like, you have a harness. He's like, oh, no, I never use them. The stand he was in, I hung. It's 28 foot off the ground. There's no way it's not. And I started thinking, like, you have 3 kids. You are a pastor. You have an entire life, all these dreams and goals that God's called you to accomplish, and you are going to risk all of that over a deer to hunt not even a deer, whatever animal you want to put, but you're going to put yourself in that risk. The thing that I've got to do better about, Joey, is I always wear a harness. And I have a bunch of lifelines. I bought like 15. Anytime I see sales, or I'm going through an ammo store one day with my father-in-law, and there was this dude selling all the rope for lifelines. And I literally bought like 700 feet of this rope or whatever, because I just knew I'm going to lock up on these because I've got 50 stands probably, and I need a lot of lifelines. Yeah. That was my excuse. I don't have enough lifelines for the stand. I'm just going to start running them, period. I'm just going to start running them.
I'm telling you from experience, definitely, and with your kids hunting. I mean, my two of mine are where they hunt out tree stands now, and my one's went to a saddle. He loves a saddle, and it's not for my generation, but he loves it, and so he's locked in all the time. But dude, I'm telling you, it's super important, and I'm telling you, the placement of those steps is key.
Yep. So, do you feel like if you could give any piece of advice other than, hold on a second, buddy. Now I'm opening a pouch for the 3-year-old. This is hilarious. Mom's here someday, but we have all kids at home. Can you shut that door?
It's life. I love it.
I love you. Do you feel like if you were to give the most obvious advice is buy a harness, wear a harness. Do you think there's any other advice before we jump off of this topic? Is there any other advice that comes to mind now that you've lived this whole thing full circle?
Yeah, like I said, the biggest things where it's just placement of nothing below you. Whether it's a tree limb or whatever. Once you're falling, there's no control. And all these keyboard warriors and these people like to get on and bash comments. I have people saying, is that real? There's no way you had a video when you fall. I probably shouldn't have, but I hope it's a witness that, it's better, people can see it, because I was doing, like I said, election, recap, and that's when it happened. And luckily I had the video there that I could show people. But yeah, just make sure, I would say lifeline everything. Don't think you're too athletic for it. I used to be a great athlete, still get it done if I need to. And I was sitting in a chair talking to, that's all boiled down to an NFL. You just never know when anything's going to happen. The good Lord above took care of me. You just can never be safe enough. And it's not, I think a lot of people don't do it because they don't think it's cool. It ain't about being cool, man. You got a family you got to be home for. My buddy felt awful. If you're hunting I would tell you this, if you're hunting somebody else's property out of respect for them, wear the harness. Because, how would you feel if, the preacher falls on your property and
That's
something?
what I told him. I said, that's what makes me the maddest. You're going to put me through that?
Yeah,
on a permission farm, and you're going to put the farmer through that. And, people, and by the way, we can go off this in a second, but the thing that I think people don't understand is, so I'll give you a story that can relate to this, is we had a very, very good friend of ours, a very good friend of my family. She tripped on our porch years ago when I was like 10, tripped on our porch, and she broke her ankle. It was in the fall and there was leaves on the porch. She missed the ledge, just broke her ankle. Well, it was so bad and she had to have so many surgeries. Her insurance ran out and she had to sue our family. She had no other choice for our insurance to give, coverage and help, had to do that. And what I'm saying in this example is, you can say that you'd never do that. You can say that until you're blue in the face. You'd never do that to a friend, or you'd never do that when your medical insurance runs out, or when your medical bills rack up and there's no more coverage and you're in physical therapy for 10 years and they quit paying. You don't know what you would do. Mm-hmm. The only way to avoid it is to never have this happen. Like, that's the only way to avoid it. And they're still amazing friends to this day. It devastated her so bad. It devastated her that this was what would have to happen. But it was the only way coverage could be picked up to continue to help her. And her ankle's not right to this day. This woman, she has more pins in it than, you can think of. And it just goes to show, you don't know. You think you'd never do something like that to your own family, but you don't have any choice, And so if somebody falls out of a tree, you're suing the farmer before you know it. And it's pretty pathetic. But anyways, all right, off of safety systems. Last thing that I would say, and I've got my Novix hat on, maybe Jeff Klump, new Novix owner who I'm getting on the podcast soon, maybe he will listen, and maybe another tree stand company will listen. Here's my idea. Tell me if you like this, Joey. I don't think a tree stand company can, instead of them putting the junk harness, because nobody, typically would wear it. And I get probably that TSA requires them, or whatever it is TSA, whatever it is that's the main.
Yeah, something like that.
It sounds like airport TSA, but it's not.
Airport, but
Tree Stand Association or whatever it is. Yeah. TSA, I think, requires them to put those harnesses. But why not shift to putting a lifeline with every tree stand? Shift to putting a lifeline, because what does putting that lifeline in there encourage? Hook a harness to it. Shift.
I like it.
Because you don't need, if I buy 10 tree stands from Novix, I don't need 10 junk lifeline or 10 junk harnesses. And that's no slight to Novix or anyone else. I'm just saying that, you just said it. They're not comfortable. They're clunky. They got like 12 straps. You are less likely to put it on. If you buy 10 stands, you're not going to put 10 harnesses on. You need one. But if you buy 10 stands, you need 10 lifelines.
Yeah.
To me, if we're going to support the marriage of safety and tree stand hunting, let's go to lifelines. Anyway, just food for thought. I patented that. I want 10% of whoever comes up with it. I know they're going to say we have to charge more for the stand. I would pay more. This is me. Tell me the company. You start doing it, and I'll pay more because it's convenience for you to have the lifeline in the stand box, and I take it with me to hang the stand.
You think about what my bills would have been or my family's bills would have been it's pennies on the dollar I'm here. I'm able to walk. You know what I mean? I'm able to hunt more. And like I
what's
said,
that lifeline cost them? If they buy thousands and thousands of feet, it maybe cost them $10 to put one
right.
together.
Absolutely.
But it's going to save
all of us hunters. I'm saying as you, I got 50 stands across the nation, different states. I mean,
I don't need 50
harnesses. To put them up and to do all that. Just have it when you get there. I mean, it can make sense. Just do it right but when people do it, I mean, you got these people who think they got to be cool and tough, and
I'm guilty, dude. I have hardly any of them. I'm guilty.
Yeah. So yeah, you got to be around for the family. You got to do things the right way. So just from my experience, guys, it's not about being athletic. It's not about being safe. You can't control stuff that happens sometimes, and you just need to. It's like wearing your seatbelt in the car to do it. So
it's about coming home at the end of the day. I want to jump around here. Joey Charlton is now, and I'm just saying now, you tell me how long this has been, but you're a land agent.
Yeah, I am. 5
How's
years.
that been? How did that happen? You started that land agent path? How did that come about?
Yeah, 5 years ago. I'm on a hunt lease in Ohio, and the guy in it's been trying to get me to do real estate for years. I was a corporate America guy. Had a good high paying job in corporate America, manager, and I was going to be the corporate guy the rest of my life. It was good. I had a good career. Things were going good, and COVID hit. And after COVID, they want you to travel 85% of the time because they won't let you travel during COVID. I'm like, I'm good. Let's go. Let's travel. And they're like, nope, gotta be safe. Can't travel. And after COVID, they want me on my airplane like 85% of the time. Couldn't plan my hunting vacation like I always had because we didn't know if we'd have to travel. I planned my Illinois trip for years, beginning of the year every year. And, they just started taking some of my stuff away. And I said, you know what? I'm not going to miss my kids' games. I'm very, very open with that. Like, I miss hunts because of my kids' games. Yep. My kids are my priority, man. You'll hear that over and over again. It's just not a talk I do. I'm not missing my kids' events. Activities, games, whatever it is. And, 85% of the time on an airplane, I start thinking about that. I'm going to miss a lot of games. So, I start talking to guys in real estate, my broker now, and said, hey, you've told me about this. What's it all about? And, I knew it allowed me a lot more time with my kids, a lot more freedom with that. And it just, it was time to try something new. So 5 years ago, switch over to real estate. We do land and homes. I do it all. I'm a realtor. I sell houses and land. Land's my favorite. Getting out, walking farms, talking hunting with people and stuff. But yeah, it's been 5 years now.
And tell me, what's the brokerage you're with? What's kind of your service area? And that was going to be one of my questions. Sounds like you do a little bit of all of it.
Yeah, a little bit of all of it. Rayleigh Realty, Deep Creek Lake, Maryland is our brokerage. They're in the Maryland side. We have a West Virginia side called Rayleigh West Virginia Properties. So if you're looking for land or a home anywhere in West Virginia, we can get you covered. I got a great group of guys that work with me. They're all hunters. We try not to be your typical real estate agent. We're not going to show up in the suit and tie. We're going to show up like, boots and let's go walk this farmhouse, whatever it may be. And, we just want to be real human beings that out there and help people find their dreams. Really West Virginia Properties. And, we're all hunters, all just like me and you. And, man, I'm blessed.
So you have I'm assuming a license in Maryland and West Virginia for yourself?
I don't. It's reciprocal in Maryland, but Maryland's probably, I don't know, an hour for me to get there. So I just really run West Virginia. I've been debating Virginia. It's right next door, and our brokerage does have some stuff in Ohio, just opened up. So I got a lot of options there. West Virginia's been good for me. Like, I was very clear with my brokerage when I moved in. Like, I'm here to be with my kids, be at their events and stuff, and provide for my family. Combination there. But when the kids get older and stuff, get out of college, I imagine I'll be getting to Virginia, Maryland, West Virginia a little bit more. Right now, I'm trying to have the balance. It's impossible to have the perfect balance, but I'm just trying to have it.
Yeah, man. I'll tell you, there's a good friend of mine that's a business coach of mine and just a mentor and great person of faith. His name's Carl Libbe, Lubbe, South African, originally South African born and raised. Carl, he talks, his company's called Curiosity Coach. And he always talks about this ideology that was so helpful for me in my life and in my career. He says that balance doesn't exist. That word, it's a myth. It doesn't exist, but rhythm does. And rhythm in our life can disguise, and make us think that it's balance. It's just a rhythm. And it's, rhythm in your work, rhythm in your spiritual life, rhythm in, your hunts. Rhythm can feel like balance. And I get it, dude. I get it. I mean, so now I say I'm chasing rhythm, because everyone says, I just want to chase balance. And it's like, it's great. It's noble and it's cool, but balance doesn't exist. It's impossible for us. We are not sinless people. So
it's true. Yeah. And I mean, I will never say I never miss a game or an activity, but I've really cut back. Like, my son played 55 college games last year. I made 54 of them. So that's a win. Definitely, there were some late nights traveling to be at an appointment the next morning, take care of my clients and all that. Cause that's whatever you do, you got to do the best, right? Do it for the glory of God, no matter what it is. So you got to be all in on, everything. And you're right. You can't balance it all, but you make it work. So that's how I landed in real estate. And it's been a good change for me. I've been able to provide for the family at the same time, be my kids' activities. So it's been a win-win and I can always continue to grow it. So yeah, it's been a blessing.
I want to jump into the trenches of that question real quick, which is, there's a point, you said corporate America, you rode the corporate American train or, climbed the corporate America ladder, however you want to say it. When you decide to become an agent and you decide to basically bet on yourself, and that's something I just love. I resonate with this entrepreneurial world and just how I believe God can gift all of us to be able to be successful, whether it's corporate. Nobody say I'm anti-corporate. I'm just unemployable. So if you could remember Joey, what did it feel like when it gets to the point of like, all right, so you're taking the classes to become an agent, then you get your license. I don't know what the point of is, like, I just quit my job and I get my first listing, or was this kind of a landing of the plane of corporate world, had a few listings? What did that look like?
No, it was jump all in. My wife and I, we prayed about it. We talked about it. And if you're going to do it, you can't be, I mean, a lot of agents try to do. You can't be half in. You got to be all in. And if I'm going to do it, I want to commit. And I don't want to be working corporate America and then behind the scenes trying to, am I cheating them doing real estate? It just didn't seem right. And I was frustrated with them. I didn't want to travel that much. And some of the stuff they were doing on the, the political side, the way they run their business, corporate America, I mean, making Wall Street, it was just time to go. Yep. And I'm a loyal person, man. I was there 20 years. I'm loyal as loyal comes to a fault. And once I check out, I'm done. And it was time, and I did it all or nothing. And it was scary. It was scary because you go from a corporate salary to real estate to it closes, you don't get paid. And it was definitely challenging. We had to cut back on stuff in the beginning. My wife's awesome. She went back to teaching and stuff, substitute teacher for a while because she stayed home with the kids when I was corporate America. And we figured it out. We were able to get it going, and the Lord provided. And the story of feed thousands with a few fish and loaf of bread and stuff. And God's always provided, and it worked out. You got to work hard. You got to do your thing. But we jumped all in, and it worked out, bud. Yeah.
Man, it's I just love how we can go so spiritual here, because I have no other way to explain what that leap of faith is like. But I always liken this to, people say the words walk by faith. They just say that so comfortably and, euphorically, and it's just all roses. If you analyze, God said, and I always, you hear God equips the called. He doesn't call the equipped and all these things. But if you break this down to walk by faith, when you made that decision, you had to walk first, take action, walk by faith. So many people are like, well, we're just trusting God and he'll just give us an answer. And we're just going to sit here and wait until he gives us an answer. It said, no. He said, walk by faith, take action. And for your story and your journey, it's like at a certain point, we don't have it all figured out. We can't have it all figured out. We have to walk. And I think too many people forget that about our, especially in our own spiritual journey. It's like, God didn't call you to just have it all figured out and then you would walk. He called you to walk by faith, trusting him in where we might go. It's Joey, this story is the exact same kind of feel and trajectory and everything from anyone I talk with. Anybody taking that, ripping the corporate America Band-Aid off and going, to supporting themselves and betting on themselves. It's the same thing. At a certain point, you just have to do it. Like it doesn't matter what you're going into. You just have to do it. Like it's incredible to me how similar that feeling is. Cause you got to walk by faith anyway.
But you can't just jump every week. I mean, I know some people just try to change jobs every week cause they don't like it, man. I didn't do this lightly. There was times over a 20-year career. I was mad. I was frustrated. Things didn't get my way. And I dug through it and all that, but you're right. Once you get to that point, it just doesn't happen. You got to walk through it. You got to trust God, but you still gotta work. You still gotta do your, go after it. So it's amazing how it ends up at the end of the day. God always has a vision. It's what I was frustrated with how much I want to travel and stuff, but he knew what he was doing. He knew my kids were going to college and I need to be at their stuff, and it worked out beautifully. His plan's amazing. Yep.
It is. Isn't it crazy too how sometimes you think something's going to be a book. It's going to be the book of your life and it ends up just being a chapter of the book. And it's just amazing. So my question now, kind of with you wearing the real estate hat, and for me, it's kind of the same thing. I'm not an agent, but I'm buying and selling land every day. I've been in real estate full time since 2015. I used to flip houses. When you think of land as a hunter and now you think of land as an agent and you think of land and all these things, how has it changed how you look at land since becoming, an agent?
That's a good question.
If anything, I mean, honestly,
we kind of use our experience and expertise to our advantage, right? Because a lot of people that want to buy hunting land don't understand hunting. Yep. So if you're just walking a property and you're like, oh, look at that rub on a tree, people are like, that's a deer rub, and you get to explain it. So, I'm probably a little more aware of stuff when I'm walking land and stuff with people. But when we're hunters, I mean, we're looking for valleys, we're looking for rubs, we're looking for scrapes, we're looking for funnel pinch points, we're looking for a lot. So, I mean, now you just use it to your advantage in your everyday job to go out there. I mean, OnX is a great tool, right? I mean, you use that kind of stuff, and so I don't know if I change as much as I use my expertise to my advantage when we're out walking farms with people, taking them out. I mean, how many agents pull up in a side-by-side and, take you around like we do to do that stuff? And not because we're trying to show, that's what we do.
Yeah. And, I get it 100%. I love looking at a farm and showing someone before I ever even get there, hey, and of course, for me, it's different because most of the land I'm showing, we own. I own the land and I get to say, here's what we've done with it. Here's why I think this is where you're going to access from a northwest wind. And this is why we pull everything east so you can get east access. So on a west wind, the deer don't know you're coming. All these. And it's fun because at the end of it, they're like, dude, your stuff. But for us, it's natural. I'm not even it's not a pitch. I'm just like, even if you didn't buy the farm, this is what is going to make this great. Or, hey, I think this thing has some teeth and here's how I would fix that. Or, it lacks food and here's how I would fix that. You see this pine tree hill, we could take this out, fix the pH, and you know what I mean? It just becomes a natural thing. But I've had to learn what's crazy, especially for recreational hunting and land sales, is there is this nuance that I think average land buyers don't understand. When you get a diehard hunter, they have a completely different set of criteria that they're going to analyze the value of that land. And I always talk about Chris Brackett talking about his whole brand is whitetail equity now, and how you can build equity in, the whitetail isms of a piece of dirt. And I believe all that. I do. But isn't it amazing, Joey, if you get a diehard hunter who looks at a piece of land versus someone who's just like, oh, we just want a piece of land to build a cabin on and have a weekend getaway. And, we want to go fish and it's close to a lake. They don't think the same at all. And the one can hate a piece of land and the other can love it. And I've had to recognize, and this is where God works on me. God's had to show me, hey, I said land was good, even if it didn't have great east wind access, even if it didn't have a great pinch point funnel. I said it was good and people could find me and have community with me here. You're only fishing you're only fishing in one pond if you're only selling to hunters. Like I've had to really work that in my brain.
Yeah, that's tough part. And that, in West Virginia, some people want flat land. Well, good luck in West Virginia finding exactly flat land. So not just getting what we want, but everybody. Absolutely. That was one, and probably one to answer your original question. Timber, you got to look at it a little differently because in a whitetail habitat versus somebody who can make some money on timber. That's probably the biggest thing. But I'm where you're at. It's like, people look at land different. People want to just camp on it for the weekend, or a big old mountainous property is okay for mountain hunters. That's what they want. So all land's good. It's just you got to make sure you listen to your clients, see what they want, and then you look at different properties they might want versus an ideal property for me might not be for somebody else. That's probably the hardest part to your point. So
it is. Yeah, just having to analyze it from people don't think like I do, and the land is still good even if it's not a 10 out of 10 on a whitetail scale. I want to jump way out of land. There's something else I've learned about Joey that I want to dive into, and I have been just anticipating this since we started. There's this organization that I happen to be very fond of, that I happen to intimately follow, and I happen to just really like, called Turning Point USA. And you happen to really like Turning Point USA. What are you with Turning Point, and how did it happen? Tell us the goods.
Yeah, with our industry, what we do in the hunting industry, we're inundated with, like you guys, you reach out, hey, you want to do this, or you constantly get people who are like, hey, I got a product, you want to do this, or I want to partner up with you. And, I remember it vividly. I was on a beach vacation with a family. We were in North Carolina, down in Duck, North Carolina, and Instagram pops up. I got a message that said, so-and-so, Turning Point USA, you interested in learning what we're about? And I'm like, who in the world's Turning Point? I got no idea. I didn't know anything about them. And I told my wife, I was like, it's just somebody else reaching out. And then it kept going back to it. Like, it seems legit, and there's, they were looking for some ambassadors. So, they were looking for folks that could go out, live their life. My niche is different. I'm not your average 20-year-old influencer, I'm in my 40s now. And, they're looking for people in different brands, different industries, different things to go out and speak up and help spread the word in return to, to help you out. So I knew one person that they'd followed that I could reach out to and say, hey, is this legit? And I did. I reached out to her. She's a West Virginia girl. And said, tell me about them. And I really like what I'm hearing here. And dug into it a little more. And then I set up a call with the folks reaching out. And what they did, they asked me to come on as an ambassador with them. And basically, it's a win-win. I help them share their stuff on my platform. And at the same time, they help us out. And I didn't know a lot about them. Reach out to me. They found me because of my Instagram profile. And said, they think we could help each other. And that's kind of how it started.
So tell me this, what time frame would that have been in your involvement, if you can remember?
My goodness, it's had to be 8 years ago, something like that. It's been a while.
Wow.
Yeah, it's been a while.
What does ambassador actually mean? I mean, it's it obviously. I think you've sort of answered this, but you're sharing, and we're going to get to the fact that I don't know that they need a ton of help anymore with what's happened.
Yeah.
But 8 years ago, that probably was a very helpful thing. What did it look like then? What was the relationship?
Yeah, it was different. I mean, it's evolved over time. I mean, I don't even know if they call us ambassadors anymore. Like they take us out and they'll fly us out to events. Their Turning Point Action Summits or their AmFest, American Fest and stuff like that. They fly us out and they treat us well. You get VIP ticket and get in and meet a bunch of folks. And so in the beginning, there was a little more strict. Hey, you got to post this many times and all that. And then you kind of just they help us grow. They help me. But when I got into it, I didn't want to talk politics. I wanted to be quiet. It was easier just to be quiet. Stuff's happening around you, but what influence can you have? You don't realize the influence you can have. You don't realize the folks that you and I talk to every day that are afraid to speak up, don't know how to speak up, or they just feel like their voice doesn't matter. And and that's all so wrong. And so they get in the beginning, it was kind of post as much and do it, and then you just kind of grow, and it grows with everybody. So there's no like you got to do this each day or anything like that. They're chill. They want you to think for yourself. They never come out and they never say this is what you got to think. Turning Point Charlie was big on it, have conversations, get out and talk to people, get out and hear stuff for yourself, watch for the facts, watch for all the details, don't jump to conclusions. And, it just kind of, it wasn't any forced thing. It was just kind of a win-win relationship. And they helped me a ton, man. I'll speak up now, and not that you have to get ultra political, but think for yourself. I mean, I think if you ask the majority of America a list of questions and don't put one side or the other in the hitting, people are pretty sensible for the most part, but they've been trained and indoctrinated to get out there and, do what we tell you to. And they basically just had us go out in the beginning and share some stuff. And now we just do what we do. And, they fly us out. I've been blessed, man. I met a ton of political figures, a ton of pro athletes, Tom Holman, all those guys. The last, American Fest, got to meet him. I mean, it just happened. It was just another one of those God things. You know what I mean? It's hard to explain. It's not like, here's the exact path or anything like that. And so, I mean, we just started, I just started off sharing so many stories for a month and all that. And now we just live our life. And we talked about earlier, I'm out there with a bunch of these college students and stuff. Just, they want what we have. They want a family. They want land. And they want to have kids. It's simple. And I'm I call myself the dad of the influencers, ambassadors there. I mean, I'm one of the older ones, but, people want what we have. They want out. You would be surprised, people that come up to me. I want to go hunt. I want to learn how to hunt. I've never done it before. So it's just the whole time living your life, not being afraid to speak up. Like, I'm rambling here, but
no,
I'm getting on a kick. I'm passionate about this.
Well,
but
we're going to get on a kick. Don't worry.
Yeah.
We're going to get on a kick. What I want to, dude, I'll tell you what, I have really struggled. I've really struggled with the murder of Charlie, and it just hit me super, super hard. I'll never forget. I was out spraying a food plot, and I was out spraying clover in September, and my wife texted me and said Charlie had just been shot. And, this is Trump had been shot at earlier. And like, what blows my mind is when she said that he had just been shot, my brain was kind of like, did they miss in the leg,
right,
in the hand? Did they clip his, like this just happened with Trump. And I'm in the middle of nowhere. So I don't know anything. I don't see anything. And then, of course, I get back to my truck and I see the entire thing. And I knew when you see the graphic nature of that, there was no chance he was going to live. Zero chance. My mom called me crying. And I can remember getting home, and I can remember I just hugged my wife and I started to cry because I felt so ashamed. And that's why I'm so interested in knowing from you, Joey. I felt so ashamed that it took watching a publicly just incredibly graphic, evil murder to wake me up to say, do you just want to watch from the sidelines like you always did? You just scroll. You love Charlie's reels. You love his debates. You love him speaking truth. You love him talking about Jesus. You love him desperately talking through the truth. You love it. You scroll in your comfortable bed and you just love it. And it's great. And now he's gone. And I did not feel that sense of empowerment of like, hey, you're the next man up, right? I didn't feel any of that in that moment. What I felt incredibly ashamed. I called some of my best friends and just, asked like, what do you, and I was always crying. I cried for 2 weeks because I felt ashamed of, we watched probably, and you and I are going here. I will say the greatest missionary our generation will ever see. And what I've also been upset with is I've been upset with the public's handling of this. I've been upset with, quote, Christians' handling of this. I've been upset with just good people's handling of this. And what I feel like in my brain right now is the general dismissal of an incredibly graphic murder on faith. So, backing up, Joey, please don't be afraid to tell me. I want to know, how did this impact you?
Yeah, I remember vividly. We were driving my son's high school golf match, and I remember it happening. And my phone, I'd met Charlie several times through, Turning Point. Got to shake his hand, have a conversation with him, and my phone started blowing off hooks. People, a lot of local folks, love Turning Point, love Charlie. And so right away, people knowing, like, hey, what's going on? What do we do now? All that stuff. I had people text me angrily, like, what's this mean? You had every mix of emotion, people just wanting for guidance and what to do. And, before anything even came out and everybody started saying we're all Charlie, that's what my answer to him is we all need to be Charlie. And that's what he would want. He never wanted violence. I mean, there were things going on and stuff, and he was never a violent person. He always wanted to hear people talk and, think for yourselves, and he would listen and all that. So, it was a mix of emotions. Obviously, you go through the gamut of stuff, and it was definitely an emotional thing. I mean, it was emotional, like you said, for everybody to know, and then getting to meet the guy. I met his wife, Erica, before, and, you just feel for the family, and then you're angry, and enough's enough. It's never the answer. I mean, no matter what side of the aisle you sit on, that's not what you do. And then the way they were celebrating it, man, social media, I'm not one to block people, but there's just stuff I couldn't stand to see from people and stuff. And, you go back at them, and, how we got the situation we're in, I think with, where we've been politically over years is everybody was quiet, sat on the sidelines. You sat on the sidelines. I sat on the sidelines. No more for this guy. And it's not that you have to be completely vocal. You don't have to go and get people's face, but how many hunters do we deal with each day? Have a conversation with them. Well, I don't vote because my vote don't matter. Or, I'm blessed. I'm from West Virginia. We're red, man. I mean, we it probably doesn't matter, but at the end of the day, it does matter, because what are you teaching your kids? What are you teaching the next generation? So if all of them don't vote, look at Virginia recently. People don't go out and show up vote. The one side's really good at showing up to stuff, and they're really good to show up vote. And if we don't, you're going to lose your rights and liberties, and we talked about it in the hunting industry. I mean, people bicker amongst ourselves and this and that, but whatever it is, we are under attack every single day in our industry. People hate our Second Amendment. People hate that we hunt. They think it's cruel or whatever. I mean, we need to be more united than ever. And us as hunters, there's no sideline anymore. Us as family men, you want to raise kids, there's no sideline anymore. And it's not that, again, I'm not saying you got to get there and be aggressive and all that, but just don't be afraid to speak up. Don't hide in the corner. Stand up for your rights. Stand up for, what you believe in. Have conversation with people. And it was amazing how people started opening up every day saying, I'm Charlie now, and I want to get more involved and all that. But I challenge anybody looking at this. I think a lot of people are all talk. It's one thing to say it. Mm-hmm. What are you going to do about it? What are you going to do about it? And that's what, I'm raising kids, and I worry for the world they grow up in. So every time we remain quiet, dude, we're letting it get deeper and deeper.
Well, I'll show you how much it impacted me.
Look at that. That's big, man. I love it.
Isaiah 6:8. There's a dove above him, but I'm sure Isaiah 6:8, and
I love it.
God asks, "Who are you going to send?" And Isaiah says, "Send me." And yeah, dude, it's just kept me upset. And I've been honestly, what I think has deflated me the most, and this is my podcast, so I can say it, but my friends as Christians and the dismissal and the, I even had people that I share a worship stage with that messaged and said they couldn't watch this blasphemy talking about the ceremony. And had a lot of conversations with my pastor and just people that really, it's disturbed me how generalized and how dismissed people have made this instance, because, and Joey, I wasn't on the inside corners or the inner workings of TPUSA, but I got to ask you, because you were Charlie. What was Charlie a missionary?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, and I wasn't on the inside workings. I mean, I'm a dude that's get lucky, get invited to events and get to meet people and all that. I'm behind the scenes stuff. I was never on the Turning Point podcast, anything like that. So just want to clear it. But I mean, absolutely. I mean, he got out every day and hit the streets. He died doing what he said he should do. He told Erica a while back. I remember her story on that. He said, God sent me, and it scared her to death, because here I am, used me. And boy, God used him, right? I mean,
how many chapters were there before the death and now after?
They were grew like 50,000, a ton of them. And I mean, I meet these chapter presidents, and I met so many young kids. The first Turning Point event I went to, and it really opened my eyes. It was down in Florida, and it was Student Action Summit, SAS they call them, and it wasn't the first one. So it was during COVID time frame, and we were in this building and we got VIP tickets. So we got in early, and these kids are lined up outside waiting to get in. They want to hear Junior speak and a bunch of people speak, and the government and the city started shutting down. Like, well, you're allowed to have 25,000 people here. Now you're allowed to have 5,000. Now you're allowed to have 4,000. They're playing the COVID games. And, man, I looked out the hotel window, and these streets are just lined with kids waiting to get in. They slept outside at nighttime to get in to the building the next morning. They literally, like, I have a video on my phone of it. They were literally laying in the middle of the street at nighttime to get in to, see these guys, see these figures, hear what's going on, all that. And that was just such a wake-up call for me. Like, I have every platform I need to get out and not hide from this stuff. And these kids, this generation, I mean, there's a great generation out there. You hear so much bad about them. There's starting to be a shift out there. But, dude, these chapter and these kids that are out there and bold and the future of America, it's amazing I went down a rabbit hole there with your question about chapters, but they grew exponentially.
You're on it, though. This is what I want to know from his tragedy. What do you think? The thing that I have seen is Charlie, I don't think could have ever made the impact he's made deceased that he would have alive.
Correct. Absolutely. I mean, it was a horrible tragedy, awful, and his legacy continues to live on. I mean, it's that whoever did it, I mean, they made a mistake on, trying to shut the movement down. They did nothing more than it propelled it hugely with what they did. I mean, so yeah, he continues to be a missionary every day. Like, even just locally, I mean, all this stuff starts at local level. Like, could you be on your school board and run for your school board? Well, people are like, well, I can never be president of the United States, but it starts right here locally. And if you turn a blind eye, and that's where you're going to see it first. Like, they start changing your local rules, local life every day. That's where you're going to be impacted. The national level is huge, but every single day in your own community. I mean, I pick on people all the time, and I say I pick on them. I mean it. They're like, I didn't vote because my vote don't matter. Well, then you voted for the other side, period. No, I didn't. Period. Yes, you did. I mean,
yep.
You have it's your right as an American citizen to be able to vote. Go do it. And it's he's a missionary. He's had a huge impact. He's definitely he lived and breathed what he said out there. You always see him taking care of his family, big family man, love God. I mean, there was never he would come in and give trainings to us ambassadors and stuff, and he would talk about we talk about in the hunting industry, people infighting and bickering with each other. Some of those influencers doing that. And he'd be like, no, enough. Stop that. We got enough against us every day. Get out. So he practiced what he preached every single day.
Do you think as a person of faith here, and dude, I'm just going here because you and I, we can say whatever our opinions are. We start on land and we get to Charlie Kirk, but we can say whatever our opinions are. It doesn't make us right or wrong. But do you feel that people of faith have any, how do I phrase this? Do you feel like people of faith have any foundation to say that Charlie Kirk was a racist? Because I've heard that. I've actually heard that
I don't know how you get to that. You know what I mean?
I've heard that in sectors of my own faith groups. I've heard and seen and had that shared that they believed Charlie was a racist.
I just don't know how you come up with something like, you know what I mean? It's the word, speaking the truth. The truth hurts sometimes.
And that's so for me, the thing that I have said that I have been so deflated by in the Christian, and by the way, my favorite verse in the Bible, it's behind me on the somewhere on a plaque, but John 16:33, for I assure you that you're going to find trouble in this world, but take heart, for I have overcome the world. The thing that's been the most deflating for me.
You're mute.
There we go. I don't know how that happened. People that are younger in their faith, this can be like probably a chief stumbling block that could cause them to walk from their faith, that we shouldn't see divisiveness and hatred inside the church walls, but we do. And it's the most deflating place to see it. Now, don't get me started on this is the greatest place for people to go is to be inside the church walls who are struggling and who are worldly and who are whatever, right? That's the greatest place for them to be. What I have been so deflated by is the division in the Christian and in the faith, however big you want to block it, the division of people that thought Charlie they didn't like how he delivered things. They didn't like that he said something this way. They didn't like that he talked about DEI and how it actually was lowering standards. And they didn't like that he was talking about, abortion. They didn't like it. And that didn't fit their faith box. And therefore, they have dismissed any missionary foundation or walk to Christ that he would have had, any benefit he would have had to the kingdom. They dismiss it because they don't like the box that it was in. They don't like the flavor. They don't like that he stood up for that. They don't like, this was my favorite. They don't like that he supported Trump. They can't stand Trump. And do you know what he's been doing with these deportations? And you get, they don't like that he stood. So we're going to dismiss his entire walk. We're going to dismiss it because we don't like the flavor.
You don't fit the narrative. That all goes down to people listening to the news and not thinking for themselves. I mean, you asked me the question about, Charlie, and I'm like, I don't know how he come to that. And, the truth hurts. He spoke the truth. Charlie spoke the truth, whether, like it or not, he spoke the truth. And I mean, we all get attacked every day. So this is what the other side does. They try to come out and, those people you're talking to are buying into that. I say, wake up and think for yourself, folks. And if you buy into that, I mean, my goodness. I mean, I know the other side feels the same way about us. We think about them, but it's like I can't even wrap my mind around it anymore.
Well, the ideology that I have loved so much, one of my old pastors, who's a very good friend of mine still, not the tree stand guy, he talked about God operating in grace and truth, and we see this in the Bible all the time. We see grace and truth in all these teachings. And my favorite one is just, the woman at the well, and they find this woman in adultery, and they, this whole crowd gathers and they say, stone her, kill her, and all these things. And what does he say? You without sin, cast the first stone. You without, so he addresses the crowd. But then what does he say to her? He says, I have forgiven you. And then the next thing is, now go and sin no more. The grace was, I have forgiven you. The truth was, walk away from this. And in Charlie's career and in Charlie's, in his life and his platform that he built, he spoke in grace and he spoke in truth.
Yep.
The truth might have hurt. The grace was real. The grace to know, I'm interested in your thought process. I'm interested in how you arrive at this. I'm interested in the things that bring you to believe what you do. But this is what the truth is. This is what the Bible says the truth is. This is what God says about this. And I really have a hard time when people of faith say, I just don't like how that stood. Okay, let's go back to some Jesus teachings. And I'm on one here, Joey, but Turning Point USA, it's on the call script. So we're there.
Absolutely.
Go back to the Jesus teachings. Do you think he was killed over his teachings? They hated that he spoke truth. They hated that crowds arose. They hated the way he had people show up and listen to him. They hated it all. How similar and peculiar is it that Charlie did the exact same thing?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And this, I've heard incredible mega church pastors. I listened to a podcast a while back. So, the question was asked, and I'm going to ask it to you. Was Charlie killed for his faith or his beliefs?
I think his beliefs were totally encompassed by his faith. So, but you know what I mean? He lived every day the way he's supposed to, and he got killed for being who he was, for his belief, for his faith. So, I mean, it probably comes down to his faith at the end of the day, because that was his guiding principle. That was his beacon. That's what we all should live by. And the people that are, preaching different, I'd say it's time to get a new preacher. It's time to start
these
listening to someone
pastors
else.
said he was killed for his beliefs.
No. No, it was this moral compass that guides everything, just like it does for me and you. And I mean, it's just.
And it can't be either or. This is another Carl Libbaism. It can't be either or. If you're a person of faith, it's like, oh, he's an incredible person of faith. And and I assert he was a missionary and he was after the case for Christ and he was after making heaven crowded. You can't also say he was a racist. They're not mutually inclusive and they're not synonymous. So the whole, it's either he was a person of faith or either he was a politician. They were, these pastors were saying how tied into politics he was and how they want to completely separate the church from politics, which I can understand.
Sure.
Okay, I can. But the intertwinedness of him walking in a political platform to talk about grace and truth. And he always said that the Bible says that we are to obey the laws of the land and we are to dive into these laws and to obey he spoke through that. These guys were saying he was killed for his beliefs tied to politics, but that his faith was a different sector, right? That this was, and I said, it can't be. If he's a person of faith, it is a both and.
Yes.
And by you saying he was killed for his beliefs, you're dismissing his faith. And I had a very heated conversation with the guy for 2.5 hours about this out of a coffee shop that he could never wrap his mind around, and the idea that you're dismissing his faith. You're dismissing his missionary and his body of work because you didn't like the flavor.
Right. It didn't fit the narrative. Exactly. That's it. It's looking for a cop out and a way out. You know what I mean? They're just hiding from it. So they use those words as big taglines and stuff anytime they don't agree. And it's sad, man. It's sad but Charlie died for his, doing, 100%, I'm with you. It's his faith. I mean, that's his guiding beacon and, he used it the right way to, move it along. But at the end of the day, I mean, it's just fathom how much people want to, complain and bicker about that. It's unbelievable. We lost a great human being that did a ton of stuff and continues to live on every single day. And like you said, his mission continues to grow and grow and grow.
I think, this is still, we just get to talk here, but I think we lost a future president. I think we lost a future, one of the greatest leaders in this earth ever. And I honestly would challenge anybody who thinks Martin Luther King was better. I'd challenge you to look some stuff up on the guy. I really would. I would. I'm going to just leave it at that. I'd challenge you to look some stuff up on the inner issues with Martin Luther King and his issues with prostitution. Anyways, let's keep going. My question is, and we'll get off of Charlie Kirk, which, hey, we're just going to eternally stay on the Charlie Kirk high because we are Charlie Kirk. We are going to think differently because of this. We are going to live differently because of this. We are bolder because of this. We are disgusted because of this. I'm irritated. Like in my faith, I'm irritated it took that to wake me up because we haven't, and this is, I'm finally able to articulate this now. Why are we irritated? Because we hear about persecution all our life. We hear about it in other countries. We hear about it everywhere else. We hear about these Chinese underground churches, and we hear about mass, slaughter, and we hear about in biblical times and Christians getting killed. And we hear about persecution in the Holocaust, and we hear about persecution. Our generation has never seen it. Never. Our generation has not seen persecution on American soil ever. Period. They haven't until then. You saw it. You saw actual faith persecution right there. You saw it. And people have dismissed that, and that's why I've been so annoyed. You're not going to dismiss that this was persecution that we watched, that billions of people got to see the most graphic persecution ever. And I told my kids, which they haven't seen it, of course. I told my kids, you're going to live and die and hopefully never see persecution to the detail that was in this video. I hope you never see something like that. We hear about it, right? And we're told about it as kids, or we're told about it in Bible stories. And it's like, oh, but that was 2,000 years ago. No. This was September 10th, 2025. That's when we saw it.
Absolutely.
Anyway, and this is going to turn to an easier topic. Not only are we divided politically in this country, and honestly, for me, Charlie, political was my least undertone that I picked up from Charlie. It was always faith. It was always boldness. It was always pointing to Jesus. So we've talked about some evil division, Do you agree? We're very divided, and I think you've already said it, that we are very divided as a hunting community. Very divided. Sportsmen in general.
Oh, we are. I mean, kind of like when you get inside of a church, the stuff that people fight about are silly stuff, right? Well, at the end of the day, we can all agree we love to hunt. We all love God's creation. We love being out there. And then we get caught up on these little things like, does everybody have to have the same management program, or is that buck big enough? Should you allow crossbows? Is baiting okay? If you're in a state where it just goes on and on and on and on and on. Blaine Anthony does a good job being, he does some videos on like, who makes you the deer police? I mean, who in the world do you think you are that you're the deer police? So yeah, I get frustrated because we catch grief on our, stuff we post, stuff like that time to time. And I've learned just to ignore people, but
what do you catch grief about?
Anything. Did I check my tree stand bolts? Did I, my kid, they're too young doing this or that, or, just shot angles, whatever it may be, a camera angle is different. You can see a limb in a video. We do stuff the right way and we know what we see, but anything anybody can, get on, they get on, they try to say, they accuse you of not being safe with a gun or whatever because they pick up one angle and pause the video. The list goes on and on and on. You should have shot a bigger deer, or whatever. It's just countless, but you just hear the infighting among people. And at the end of the day, we have our Second Amendment rights. We have our right to hunt. We have our right to own land. I heard Virginia, I think it was like if it's less than 5 acres, you can't shoot a gun on anymore is what they're trying to move to. That starts in one state. That can grow. Now, I haven't, checked the validity of that myself, but I was talking to somebody the other day and they said that. And if that's true, this thing continues to grow. That's what we need to be putting our energy toward, keeping our right stuff. Not like, hey, dude, you should let that deer have another year or whatever. That's, if somebody does stuff legally and they're within their bounds, we can have opinions and stuff, but to get in these fights and stuff over it, why?
Yep. I'm with you. A lot of there's one you mentioned, there's a topic that I'm becoming more passionate about from the management of the resource, protection of the resource, what I'm seeing. And I've kind of already done a deep dive on this. My listeners know I called it the Great Debate, BAIT. I want to talk with you about baiting for a minute because, and there's obviously a million topics that we could pick, and we're very divided as a country on this, I believe. But as here in Ohio, buying and selling hunting land, hunting a ton of land. I hunted 10 different counties this year. I'm fortunate to, have a good bit of land in Ohio. I know West Virginia is a bait state. I'm pretty sure Virginia is a bait state, right? Maryland.
I know Virginia part of it is. West Virginia, my part is not because of chronic wasting. So, yeah.
Okay.
So, but part of West Virginia is, part of it's not.
Well, you've mentioned Illinois, and it's a state very dear to my heart. And I'm just kind of curious. So I wanted to go down a trail here, much less heated as people of faith talking down to Charlie Kirk. But I do want to ask just your opinion, Joey. I've been really worked up by this for the past 6 months, probably, and worked up's the wrong word. I've been aware. I have started to become more aware of what I think are some of the bigger issues in hunting that I will open this table of conversation with. I don't believe as hunters and as anything in life, we don't self-govern well. Anything, not just hunting, anything, sports, NIL, we don't self-govern well. And in hunting, I feel like, especially for here in Ohio, it's very much, and I've heard a lot of big timers, and I'm going to try to bring some of these guys on talking about that we want to make the access to success easier. We want to make the barrier to entry to succeed at a hunt easier. We want to create more access to weapons to make this easier. We want to create more access to things like baiting to make this easier. My question, Joey, is where, and I'm going to use Illinois as my questions for you, but where do you feel like, where do you land, I guess, to start at the top, where do you land on the great debate of should baiting be removed, or is there room for improvement in multiple states in the country?
No matter what you do, people are going to have a gripe one way or the other. Even if there's compromise, I get frustrated because, I hear people say you shouldn't bait, and then they're baiting illegally in a state you're not supposed to. The same exact people.
Yep.
So I think people hide behind these buzzwords like it's corn. Dude, I mean, if it's illegal, I mean, it's whatever. I mean, I'm good with it. We hunt Ohio. We get our pictures. We hunt over time. I mean, would I rather shoot a deer without bait? Like Illinois, I love Illinois because there's no bait around.
Why do you love Illinois?
Huh?
Why do you love it?
I just like to hunt each year. It's a good experience. I go with a great group of guys, but I mean, would I rather shoot a deer over bait or not over bait? Definitely would rather not shoot a deer over bait. I would rather shoot a deer naturally, funnel, working the field edge, deer doing what they're supposed to do. But Ohio, do we hunt over it? Sure. I mean, time comes down to it, late season, like right now, this snow is going on. I can't feed deer here in West Virginia, where part I'm in. Good luck finding food, buddy. I can't do anything to help you out. Ohio, we can pour it to it. So I'm not really set one way or the other. I kind of, if it's legal and you can do it where it's legal, then whatever. I mean, do what you want. And I love Illinois. I mean, just the, deer, I feel like deer do what deer are supposed to do in Illinois. You sit on the inside field edge and they're going to come down through and do their thing. They're not jacked up, but it's not because you can't bait. I mean, I love the state. I've had great success out there. I go with a great group of guys. It's the big deer and all, but I hunt both states where you can and can't. And I'm kind of whatever. I mean, as long as you're doing it legally. But what I can't stand is sit there and somebody say you can't bait, you should never do it, and then you're shooting deer in West Virginia over a bait pile that's illegal. That I have a problem with.
Yep. Yeah, and I've already caught a lot of flack on social media because I have a hunt from here, December 5th in Ohio. I shot a deer over bait. It's kind of so for me, I'm Joey, I'm very adamant that baiting, especially here in Ohio, I'm very adamant that it's rapidly decreasing the quality of our resource. I'm just throwing that out there because by the way, this is for everybody's buzzwords. I fed over 83,000 pounds of corn here in the state of Ohio last year, 1,500 bushels of corn I fed across farms we have for sale, feeders on my own home farms, bait over at farms for inventory, you name it. I fed a metric ton. And then I killed this deer at my home farm, 60 yards from a feeder with corn on the ground inside of a food plot so that I could get this deer to come to the corner that I want him to come to get him in range to shoot him with a bow. But I'm going to be hung with, hey, you baited him. Well, I would be the first guy to sign that baiting could be removed. And I am saying this purely, Joey, what I worry about for our kids, especially, is I think the quality of hunting has gone down. I believe the quality of hunting has gone down because of the direction we've taken hunting. And I too love Illinois, like really love Illinois. Actually, I'm headed out in a couple of weeks to shed hunt, and I'm headed out to look at some other land and work on some more leases. And I could just tell you, on the 250 acres of Illinois property that I have leased versus the over 1,000 acres here in Ohio that I have access to or own, overwhelmingly, I have better deer and better healthy deer pictures in Illinois, like overwhelmingly, not close. And I only say that just, Joey, I'm just, this is just I want to talk through, like, have you thought, is there more to it than do we just love Illinois because it's Illinois? I'm with you. I love Illinois because it's Illinois. But I think what I also love is that I know the neighbor doesn't have a 10-foot wide bait pile on the other side of the fence. I know that the 10-acre neighbor beside of me is hunting the same funnel as me, but he doesn't have 1,000 pounds of corn in the middle of that funnel that I'm also, north of. And I have to wonder when I'm driving 7, 8, 9 hours, is their bait pile fresh and mine isn't? It's become, and this is where I catch a lot of flack, is that hunting has become a rich man's game, and you and I sell land, and land's not going to get any cheaper. And now if this guy doesn't bait, he doesn't have a good hunt because the neighbor baits because he has more money so he can bait. Like I'm churning with this idea that I'm pretty convinced, especially if I'm just going to talk about Ohio for a second, and I would make this argument for West Virginia as well. But if we removed baiting in 3 years, I think Ohio would become Iowa. I do. And I kind of wonder for our kids, do we reduce the experience because we all have to bait. You know, I'm in the campus of this whole baiting. Everybody has their own campus, right? I'm in the campus of I bait because you do. I don't want to. I bait because you do. I'm also in the campus of on small tracks like I have where I shot this deer. I know for a fact there was 5 different bait piles within 300 yards of the one I was at. Mm-hmm. So if we do, and Don Higgins is a I've had Don. I listen to their podcast all the time, but Don's a friend of mine, and he always says that removal of baiting would be the great equalizer of hunting. And you know, and there's all these, you know, we can go down to crossbows and all this other stuff, but I worry, Joey, because your opinion is valid. My opinion is valid. Everybody's in this like divided campus with baiting. I really worry about the quality of the resource of our hunting over the next 5 years. And I don't know if you listen to the Hunter podcast, but those guys are really, Jared and Jeremy really worry about the future of the quality of the resource. That's what I want to go back to here. The quality of the resource we're all trying to hunt. If we make it better and better and better and better, we make it easier and easier and easier technically. And ask me how many big bucks I've shot over bait. If we continue to make it easier with the advancement of the crossbows, the advancement of cellular cameras, the unlimited bait piles, the advancement of ozonics, or whatever else you want to throw in here, whatever else, we continue to make that more successful for us against a resource that can't change at the pace we are, right? And I'm just curious, where do you, hearing any of this, like where do you fall in any of it? Nowhere?
I mean, we have the debate in our own camp, like, you know, a lot of big bucks are killed not over the bait. They see a camera bait pile one time, they might still steer clear. I mean, we have all the debate, but I haven't sat around and dwelled on it a lot. I mean, it's I don't know. I mean, you start thinking about the economics of it and all. I mean, you don't sell like how much that costs. I mean, I don't want to give a number, but that you spend.
Oh, I can totally give a number. I bought corn for $4.30 a bushel. We'll do the math here, and that's killing it for anybody that's on here.
That's a great deal.
You know, a bushel is 56 pounds. So if I fed 83,000 pounds, we'll divide it out by 56 pounds. So that's 1,482 bushels times $4.30. On the lowest side in the world, no one will beat my price for corn. That is $6,300 of corn I fed this year. And that's the lowest price in the world. $6,000 I spent on corn. That doesn't include the feeders. That doesn't include the trips. That doesn't include bags. That doesn't include any of that. $6,000 in corn that went down in the ground.
Yeah, it'd be something I'd think on a lot because, I mean, how much money does that take out of the community? How much does that take out of then the price of tags go up? And, you know, you and I both said earlier, we want more hunters in. You don't want to allow it. Do you get more hunters? Are they good as hunters because they bait? Probably not. You know, you can't just go out and find it. You can bring them bait pile in, but at the same time, it's not, you can't go out every day and kill a big buck over a bait pile either. So, you know, I'd have to think on a little more. I could probably go either way on it. I mean, I like hunting not over it. I mean, I'd rather shoot a deer not over it, but
let me ask this then. Let's ask it this way, because I'm not trying to put you on the spot. I'm trying to figure out too with each guest I bring on is like kind of where is the great divide, or where do all the campuses exist? Would you be in favor of removal of baiting? And let's just even pick the state of Ohio or West Virginia. I don't care. The entire state has removal of baiting. Would you vote in favor of that?
Probably not, because people are still going to bait. I know the people they are. So then being an out-of-stater, you had a huge disadvantage for seeing pictures and all and getting what you are. I mean, if you could legitimately enforce it all, yeah, let's go. But
and you're right. I mean, there's going to be a 3-year probably trail down of getting the outlaws out and all that. But of course, we're looking at the advancement of the. I'll tell you this, and I should have pulled this up before I tell you because I don't want to misspeak on this survey. I listened to the Hunter guys. They had a guy on a podcast recently that is Ohio, not Ohio Wildlife Council, but something. And he said they sent out a survey this year. I want to say this year. They sent out a survey and they were asking hunters a lot of questions. And of one of the questions in the survey was, would you be for or against the removal of baiting? It was 60% for removal of baiting, 40% against, so 60 plus 40% minus. And the other part of the question that was telling to me was that he said gosh, I need to pull this up. I shouldn't even be speaking about it if I don't have it pulled it up. But essentially the question was, do you think it would reduce the quality of your hunts if we removed baiting? I want to say, and it was 60% no, 40% yes. Oh, no. Here it is. Would you quit hunting if there was a removal of baiting? 60% said no. 40% said yes. And that might be wrong on the 60-40, but here's the Jared at Hunter said this, and I intimately agree with him. I call bull on the 40% that say they would quit hunting.
Yeah.
So if we took 50% of them out, you're really going to quit hunting because you can't bait? You won't. You'll still go hunting. So if we took 50% of them out, you almost have an 80% that says, no, I wouldn't quit hunting. Because the big argument that a guy like Mike Rex, who's the head of the Ohio Wildlife Council, I'd love to get Mike on. I don't know if he'll ever hear this, but he says we'd lose too many hunters if we ban baiting in whatever state you want to say, we'd lose too many hunters. And then Joey, to your point that we've continued to talk about, we lose too many hunters, we lose too many votes. When we lose votes, we lose a voice. We are against insurance lobbyists and whomever just doesn't like deer or likes, we're against them and we're very divided. He makes the claim we'd lose votes because we'd lose too many hunters. I tend to disagree with that. I tend to disagree because I think a guy like Joey, if the baiting was removed in Ohio, let's say, and you're right, there's going to be outlaws, there's going to be some stuff, there's going to be some problems for 2 or 3 years. Joey's not going to quit hunting in Ohio.
No.
Right. And
No
Joey now spends $6,000 and Tyler, whatever Joey spent, I think we could say Joey on average, every hunter that's putting out bait is spending no less than $1,000 a year on bait. Right. Safe average. So now you spend $1,000 on something else, food plots, whatever. Everybody's going to complain and say, well, I couldn't kill on my 5 acres if I didn't have bait. You could. I'll teach you for free. I'll show you how you could. Show me your 5 acres. I'll show you everything around it. I'll show you how to make your 5 acres different than everything around it, and you'll kill deer. But I don't think they would quit. I honestly am convinced, Joey, and this is weird because I didn't care about this 3 or 4 years ago, but what I can say, and I mean this, Joey, I said this on a previous podcast. I have a lot of cellular cameras. You probably do as well.
No, absolutely.
I'm running 75 cellular cameras right now across 10 counties in the state of Ohio. Of the 75 cameras in 10 counties with bait on these farms the entire fall with incredibly low hunting pressure, because I'm fortunate to only go chase the biggest deer, right? So you can't be on all these farms. Incredibly low hunting pressure. I think I pictured 6 deer over 150 and 2 over 170 this whole year. 75 cellular cameras, 10 counties, 83,000 pounds of corn. I'm just saying, what I'm saying that I feel is happening is the resource is degrading. Now we got to go back to Joey does a better job, but that's not how we measure success in hunting is antlers, right? I already ranted about this myself earlier. Is like, we can't just measure success in hunting with antlers. What I do wonder though, is if we continue to degrade the resource, what are we after? I don't know.
Yeah. I mean, I think definitely people don't quit hunting. That's false. People will not quit hunting because they can't can't bait, whatever. I could go either way. I mean, I'm not horribly either side because a hunting state you can, hunting state you can. People will not quit hunting because you can't bait.
Yeah. And I live here in Ohio and I love Ohio. And I honestly believe it's still one of the top 5 country or states in the country for whitetails. I think it is for sure.
Oh, absolutely.
I agree. There's some things that could change in Ohio and I'll throw West Virginia and North Carolina, anywhere else. I will make some statements that I think if the removal of baiting actually did happen, I think you give Ohio 3 years and it will compete with Iowa. I think it will. Now, there's all these other problems that I would go through, but I think it could compete with Iowa. There's too many 3 and 4 year olds that get shot because they go to bait. At 3 and 4, you shoot the 150, right? You have 4 deer on your farm. One's 150 and 3 are 135. 8 points, all 5 year olds. Which one are you shooting? Unless you just absolutely, especially on a lease or permission, you're shooting the 150, but that's the 3 year old. That's going to be a 170. I am just saying, man, like we're way down into a thing, but I've unknowingly put a lot of data and case study into this over the last 3 years of running a company and having a ton of data out there and all that I feel like it's a pretty good sample size to say I don't know. Something's going on, and I'm not poo-poo on Ohio, but I will say, and then we can jump off of this. I really have I have tried to put my finger on why I love Illinois so much. And when I go there and it just feels different. And of course, Joey, I know you're going to agree with me. It's the true Midwest. I don't call Ohio the Midwest. People call Ohio the Midwest.
No, I don't either. Yeah, I agree.
It's not. Maybe northwestern Ohio, straight western Ohio, but like I'm in southeastern and central and northeastern Ohio. This is not the Midwest. We're in the Appalachians. Illinois is the true Midwest. So you're hunting fence gaps and scrapes and funnels, and and the elevation's not super high usually. And all this, I think that's part of it. I really do. But I also think the other part of it is like, it's truly a level playing field. Like when I pull into those farms and I open those gates and I look at that wood block in front of me, I'm saying there's probably deer bedded in there. There's acorns in there. There's corn on the other side of it from an ag farmer that was cut. But these deer kind of have what they have here. They have their own ecosystem that isn't tainted by the fence line on the east that is a neighbor that I might have to know could have a bait pile. I don't know. I just tend to think it's part of why I love it so much is I don't have to worry about what's across the fence.
I talk about it a lot too in a little bit different angle. Like I like Illinois because we don't run cameras out there. The farms we lease, we get them for a week. We've been on it for years, and it's such a far trip. You really need a lease. Like, is it 14-hour trip? How many times are we really going to go out there versus a 4-hour trip to Ohio for me? So we haven't ever sunk our teeth into let's get a year lease on it. This week long, it just works good. Great group of guys. We love what we do. And I don't know going into the week, like I know what I saw last year. I don't know what's there. And it's fun because I'm going in saying if a 150 walks out, do I shoot him or you wait on a booner? Does a 130 get my goat today for video and whatever it may be? And it's unknown. Where Ohio, you kind of feel like when you have these pictures, I got to do this. You get it turns into stress because you're like, I got to wait on this buck or whatever. So I talk about that a lot in Illinois. I kind of just like I'm going in blind every year. It's pure hunting to the point. So I do enjoy that. So.
And you could make, Joey, I've gone way out on this baiting argument out on this island of baiting, and it's the problem. You can equally make this argument that cellular cameras are the problem because you just, you said it. You know what's in Ohio, so therefore, and that's where there's this argument that we've high graded. We continue to high grade our deer by shooting the best deer because the cameras show us which are the best deer, and we save every deer and only hunt the best deer, and we're just not hunting for the thrill anymore. And therefore, you have all these 125-inch 8 points. This is my Ohio argument. So you have all these 125-inch 5, 6, 7, 8, 9-year-old 8 points because no one will shoot them because you got a 143-year-old that you shoot because it's 140. The cellular cameras do that. There can be this debate of like what all are the problems in the hunting community, but I have tried to put my finger on what problem in the hunting community is most detrimental to the resource. And I would put cellular cameras up high as much as I love them because of how efficient it's made us as hunters. You go to a stand based on a cell camera that day.
Sure.
You get up at 1 a.m. and drive through the night because of a cell camera. And you don't do that with SD cameras. I had to run SD cameras on one farm this year, and it was so fun to me because it was kind of like you said with Illinois. Like, I don't really know what's here. Like, I haven't been in here to check these cameras. I'm not going to go check them and just burn it out. I'll check them after a hunt or whatever. But I'm hunting. I don't know what. I don't know. And it was like back to the roots of this is what this used to be for us. So I don't even know, cell cameras could be part of it. Not, Ohio, there's a lot of non-resident. You got to limit non-resident. And technically, Joey, Illinois has technically limited non-residents. But if you're like me, I've gotten a tag every single year. It's not.
We go to Walmart and buy it every year still. Yep. We don't trust over and try to get it early. Yep.
The only time I ever couldn't get a tag is I waited till the day before gun season to buy a gun tag to bow hunt. It'd
be different.
And I didn't get a gun tag in one county. And praise the Lord, I had a lease in another county. So I was lucky to get a tag there. There's all this room for debate that they could limit non-resident hunting in Illinois as well, even more, and debate for that in Ohio, probably debate, you can name this in any state. I think what you're teaching me is that we honestly have to go back to all of that could be a problem. That could be real. Like it could. Cell cameras, baiting, all that. It could all be a problem. But it's a bigger problem if you don't find a way to encounter God in the woods.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, and I mean, that's the thing. I mean, we're talking about all this stuff, but does it keep people from hunting? Does it keep people from going out? I mean, that's why I don't sit there and dwell into the bait and stuff of it. Just I like the discussion. It's fun. It's fun to think about, but everything has consequences in every decision made. So it's tough. It's like you want more people in, but we want this. So what side do we want? We want all the bigger bucks, and we all do, obviously, and all. So but no matter what, let's say you fix that and there's a rule in place. Then there's going to be the next debate. Then there's the next debate. Then and it's just going to be constant there. And that's where we catch ourselves in this industry so caught up in that. There's a bigger picture out there we need to be worried about. And, people trying to, what if you can't hunt at all? Because we don't speak up and, stand up for what we believe in.
Well, that's where we're headed. And that's where Mike Rex and anybody powerful would say we are headed. Anybody would say we all can sit here and complain about corn and cell cameras and non-residents and draws. And
that's not the issue.
Leases versus private. It's all of that is in a ball of yarn against this sport of hunting could be eradicated. Period. Like by CWD sharpshooters in Missouri type stuff. All this. All right. I got two questions. We're going way out. We're going to land this plane. It's gotten turbulent here. I got two questions and then we're going to wrap this thing up. This one's easy. Favorite place you've ever hunted?
Hunt a lot. It's very curveball. And it's not because of big buck stuff. I like South Carolina. Just because of the variety. To be honest with you, I mean, the people down there are different. Like, I get invited down there. I met a guy in Ohio on a hunt, and he invites me down to hunt his lease. Like, if you're on a lease in Ohio with buddies, and you try to bring a friend in, it ain't happening. Everybody down there, they're like, come on in, come into my house, come in and eat, come hunt my deer. And I like it because they have hogs, they have deer, they have turkey, they have it all. And the hospitality, I love going to South Carolina, and that's probably not a common thing you get. Dude. But I was shocked at the size bucks they do have down there and the way people treat you. And I love going down there for whatever. Now, I love Illinois. I love all that. But, I mean, just South Carolina always comes to mind. It's a place I want to go each year.
Dude, I love that. And just to tag on what you're saying as a non-conventional place you love to hunt, or, it's just not the normal answer. Mine is Wyoming. And I did an antelope hunt in Wyoming. And it was the most beautiful hunt I've ever been gorgeous. On. Low key. The guy took 51 hunters that year. 51 hunters killed an antelope with bows. I mean, it was like all this stuff we talk about with whitetails and walk this way and this and that. And don't go in on this wind and you can't hunt that stand. Dude, these antelope, it was just like we were driving out there in a truck. You were eating a cheeseburger with your bow in your hand and get up in a windmill and you shot an antelope that night. Like it was just amazing. And it was beautiful. God's creation. Yes, it was what hunting should be. It really was.
Right.
So I'm Wyoming. Here's the other last one. Deep one, big one. What does Joey want to be remembered by?
Yeah, I mean, I want to be remembered as a good human being that cared about my family, cared about God first. The dude is all about priorities. And I've talked about that a lot. I miss a lot of hunts. I probably don't kill some deer I could kill each year. But priorities number one. God's number one. I want to be a godly man. I want to be, a Christian man. I want to be a family man. I want people to know that my family's number one to me. I gave back to my community. I just want to, just living the American dream, doing things the right way. And at the end of the day, I mean, people cannot take your integrity from you. And my integrity is number one to me. I mean, it's baseballism. I think it was had a shirt that you played for two names on your jersey, the one on the front and the one on the back, right? And the name, your last name means a lot to you. And you got to leave the world better than you found it. And if I can raise 3 kids that are godly kids, that are good human beings and have a great life with my wife and, bring more people to God, taking people to heaven as kin, life's good. And it has nothing. People are going to think I'm going to say killing a big buck. That is all a side factor. God provide. I mean, I get to do all that because of what I have, but that's not what it's all about in life.
Man, I don't know if you've ever seen this clip. I love what you've said. And I saw this clip with T-Bone, Travis Turner with Michael Waddell. And he was talking about, if I died tomorrow, all these mounts, all these deer mounts, all this stuff I have in my house, this would become a burden to my wife. Like it wouldn't, it's not a blessing to anyone. And it hit me, not like we don't all have some taxidermy bills coming, but it's true. Like, it's true. If Joey and Tyler are gone tomorrow, like, maybe your sons would be like, yeah, I want dad's mounts. Like, this is cool. That's great. But, like, what's the real measuring stick, I mean, So I love that. I love that. Easy question, and then we'll wrap up here. How do people get a hold of you? How do they find you? Tell them about your show on the Pursuit Channel one more time. Kind of where in the world is Joey on socials and all that?
Yeah, I've kept it interesting. I mean, I got Facebook personal, and I kind of keep that for my personal stuff, kids, all that, their sports and all that. I do a lot of my public stuff on Instagram. So Joey Charlton _Bone Shack _outdoors. That's where I do a lot of my, stuff. And I probably should keep up social media like I should. You kind of get running 50 different directions and kind of burn out keeping up with it and all. And, I got shadow banned pretty hard on Instagram a while back when I started my Turning Point stuff. It was during that shadow ban stuff. So kind of, oof a little bit, but that's where you'll find me. Go there. Instagram's where I do a lot of my stuff. So hook me up there. And then, if you're looking to buy or sell land in West Virginia, obviously Joey Charlton, Raleigh, West Virginia Properties. Love to help you out with anything there. The show, we're going into season 11. So we'll be airing on the Pursuit Channel. More to come. I will post that on my social media on Instagram. We also have a team page, Bone Shack Outdoors. But if you just want to keep me individually, Instagram's the best way. Love to interact, love to talk. See us public, make sure you reach out to us. It's what it's about. I mean, hunters helping hunters, and the relationship. I didn't know you before today. We got a lot in common. I mean, that's a beautiful thing about this industry. It's a small industry. So if you're a clown and you act like a fool, people are going to know it. But there's a lot of good brotherhood out there as well. So.
For sure. Like faking falling out of a tree stand. I mean, all that stuff.
Oh, no. How dare anybody do that? I can't believe people. I said, you really think I want to give up an Iowa once every 6 years?
Old Josh Bomar over here, you're burning your truck down and falling out of tree stands. And
Oh my gosh. Yeah.
Well, Joey, it's been awesome, dude. It's been good to get to know you. I appreciate you coming on. This has been a rewarding story to be able to hear. And I always love hearing about guys that take that dive in betting on themselves. And truthfully, I love hearing people leave corporate America if they think that's what they need to do to support their family. And I just love the whole thing. So I look forward to becoming better friends together. And I appreciate you being on today.
Yeah, I appreciate you having me. Keep in touch. And let me know if y'all need anything. Hope to see you out in the woods one day soon. And definitely, let's keep a relationship going here.
Let's do it. For the listeners, that's going to do it for this week's episode of Legacy Through Land. We'll catch you on the next one. Peace.
And that's going to wrap up this week's episode. If you're finding value in this content, we'd love to hear from you. It'd mean a lot if you could share with us how this podcast is helping you on your journey and let us know of any topics you'd like us to cover in the future. Be sure to connect with us on all social platforms at Legacy Acres Land Co. and subscribe to stay updated on when new episodes drop. We hope you've enjoyed this week's episode of the Legacy Through Land podcast, and we'll see you next week.